Chapter 2502. The Origin Spirit Realm was a forbidden area in the demon world. The Origin Spirit Realm contained a strange spiritual energy that could cause one to go berserk and lose their minds. It was a place that countless people in the demon world would turn pale at the mention of. Even half-saints couldn't resist that kind of energy and didn't dare to rashly enter it. Only saints could enter the Origin Spirit Realm, because there was an Origin Spirit Tea Tree in the Origin Spirit Realm. The Origin Spirit Tea Tree was an innate spiritual root that would only sprout after 1,000 years and grow tea leaves after 10,000 years. The tea leaves of the Origin Spirit Tea Tree could cure inner demons, increase the power of the soul, and break through realms. It was a supreme treasure. However, the Origin Spirit Tea Tree would only grow 108 tea leaves each time. Therefore, every time the tea leaves of the Origin Spirit Tea Tree ripened, it would attract countless experts to fight over it. It was also the most lively time in the Origin Spirit Realm. On a barren mountain in the Origin Spirit Realm. The barren mountain looked to be only a few thousand meters tall. It was a grayish-brown color, without any vegetation, and looked desolate. However, on the top of the barren mountain, there was a tea tree that was a few meters tall. Its branches looked like horned dragons, and its leaves looked very sparse. Hundreds of green tea leaves hung on the tree. Each tea leaf was the size of a palm and looked very verdant. Incomparably profound patterns appeared on its surface. There were flames, lightning, water, stars, and oceans on those veins. A strange fragrance spread, covering the entire barren mountain with a layer of life aura. The Origin Spirit Tea Tree that took 10,000 years to ripen is finally going to ripen today. Someone exclaimed. His eyes were filled with anticipation. At this moment, there were already dozens of figures on the barren mountain. Each of them had a powerful aura and extraordinary cultivation. They were all saint experts. They were all saints who came to the Origin Spirit Realm because of the Origin Spirit Tea Tree's ripening. Most of them were young, and each of them had an imposing appearance and looked extraordinarily proud. They were all heaven's favored children of the demon world who had already become saints at a young age. They were the seeds of various large sects and ancient clans, and had high hopes placed on them. They all wanted to obtain 1 or 2 Origin Spirit Tea leaves and use them to break through their inner demons, strengthen their soul, and break through realms. A single Origin Spirit Tea leaf could save them 1,000 years of bitter cultivation. Those two should be the Radiance Demon Sect's peerless duo, right? I heard that they had already attained the Sage Realm 1,000 years ago. Now, it seems that their cultivation has already reached the Sage Realm great perfection. I'm afraid they want to break through to the Great Sage Realm with the help of the Elemental Spirit Tea leaves. Everyone's eyes fell on the two people closest to the Elemental Spirit Tea Tree. It was a man and a woman. The man was dressed in white and was extraordinarily handsome. His figure was vigorous and heroic, and his entire body was glowing. There was a faint smile at the corner of his mouth, and he exuded an extraordinary aura. The woman was wearing a white dress with a veil over her face. Her figure was tall and sexy. Her perfect body was hidden under the veil of the dress. It was very moving. Behind her was a pair of pure white wings. They were as thin as a cicada's wings and exuded a holy aura. It gave her a different kind of charm. Although her face couldn't be seen clearly, her eyes were like spring water, clear and bright, as if they could freeze one's heart. She was extremely beautiful. Everyone's eyes were filled with reverence when they looked at the two of them. The Elemental Spirit Realm was located in the middle of the Dark Demon Sect and Radiance Demon Sect's territories. It had always been a forbidden area that the two sects fought over. Because of the deep hatred between the Dark Demon Sect and Radiance Demon Sect, the two sects often fought each other. In the Elemental Spirit Realm, countless disciples of the two sects had died. It is said that they are the previous generation's Light Saint son and Light Saint daughter. Both of them were extremely dazzling existences 1,000 years ago. Because of their existence, the Dark Demon Sect had to swallow their anger. Someone exclaimed, recalling the legendary glorious battle achievements of this pair of peerless heaven's prides. Everyone guessed that although the Light Saint son and Light Saint daughter hadn't broken through to the Great Sage Realm, if they joined forces, They might even be able to fight a great sage. The young man next to the light saint's son looks like the demon lord of Yuanluo's disciple, Hongqing. Someone's eyes fell on a young man next to the light saint's son. That young man looked to be about 16 or 17 years old. His face was full of arrogance, and he seemed to have an extraordinary temperament. When he was talking to the light saint's son, he would secretly glance at the light saint daughter from time to time. That's Hongqing. Why would he come to the elemental spirit realm? I heard that the demon lord of Yuanlu had already perished together with Ling Xiao. Could he have joined the light demon sect? Someone recognized his identity. He was the demon lord of Yuanluo's disciple Hongqing, but they also wondered why he was here. After all, this was the territory of the light demon sect and the dark demon sect. The experts of other demon sects and clans rarely crossed the boundary. Only some of the peerless heavens prides here came to the elemental spirit realm. Strange. The light demon sect's peerless heavens prides have already arrived, and the elemental spirit tea tree is about to mature. Could it be that the dark demon sect isn't preparing to send anyone? Someone felt that it was very strange that they hadn't seen anyone from the dark demon sect yet. The dark demon sect now only has a few big cats and small brains. How can they suppress the light saint's son and light saint daughter? If the older generation comes here, the dark demon sect can't afford to lose face. Someone sneered. It said that the light saint daughter Yumeng has already proven her Tao and become a saint. And the dark demon sect's holy son Ling Xiao has also become a saint. Could it be that the two of them don't dare to come? So what if they've proven their Tao and become saints? How can they be a match for the light saint's son and light saint daughter? Even if they come here, they'll just be humiliating themselves. That's right. That guy called Ling Xiao has the same name as the God Realm's chosen one, Ling Xiao. How annoying. If that Ling Xiao comes, I'm afraid Hongqing won't be nice to him. Some people were curious, some were surprised, and some were gloating over his misfortune. Brother Light, it said that the death of your light saint's son is related to that dark Ling Xiao. Does your light demon sect plan to let him go so easily? Hongqing also heard the discussion around him. His eyes flashed as he spoke to the light saint's son. Hongqing hated the name Ling Xiao. The death of his master, the demon lord of Yuanlu, had a lot to do with Ling Xiao. Therefore, he instinctively felt hostility towards the dark demon sect's holy son that he had never met before. Dark Ling Xiao? If he dares to come here, I'll make sure he doesn't return. All these years, we've been cultivating in seclusion and ignoring the mundane matters. Did we really let this guy think that our light demon sect is easy to bully? The light saint's son smiled faintly. Although his voice sounded very gentle, there was a trace of coldness and killing intent in his eyes. Chapter 2503. Brother Guang is right. Although I have no grudge against him, his name still pisses me off. If he dares to come here, I want to teach him a lesson. Hongqing sneered. Who do you want to teach a lesson to? At this moment, a cold and emotionless voice sounded in the void. Rumble. A black demonic light rose in the void. In an instant, a dazzling brilliance bloomed from it. A golden void war chariot traversed the void. There were countless ancient runes on the war chariot, exuding an ancient and mysterious aura. In front of the golden war chariot, there was a golden dragon and a golden phoenix pulling the chariot. The dragon and phoenix seemed to be cast in gold. They looked lifelike, exuding a powerful aura that deterred people from approaching them. However, the dragon and phoenix were not living creatures. They were puppets. Together with the golden war chariot, it made the war chariot look even more mysterious. Darkness Ling Xiao sat on the war chariot, holding a woman in a black veil in his arms. His face was cold and arrogant. He stared at Hongqing condescendingly and said, "It's dark holy son Ling Xiao?" Someone exclaimed. His eyes were filled with shock. They did not expect darkness Ling Xiao to come. This golden war chariot is said to be the vehicle of the son of the heavenly emperor. It's called the heavenly emperor's war chariot. It's a supreme holy treasure that contains supreme power. I didn't expect it to fall into the hands of darkness Ling Xiao. I heard that someone in the divine world pretended to be the heavenly emperor. However, he was killed by Darkness Ling Xiao in the chaotic ancient land. The heavenly emperor's war chariot is in the hands of Darkness Ling Xiao. It looks really impressive. Everyone was discussing spiritedly. The woman in Darkness Ling Xiao's arms. Is she Dark Holy Daughter Yumeng? Suddenly, someone exclaimed in surprise. It's really Yumeng, my goddess. Damn Darkness Ling Xiao. How dare he blaspheme my goddess? Someone gritted his teeth and said, he wanted nothing more than to rush up and hack Ling Xiao to death. His eyes were filled with hostility. Inside the celestial emperor's chariot, Yumeng's hair was messy, and her perfect face was flushed. Her black dress fluttered in the wind, vaguely revealing her perfect body that would drive countless men crazy. She was hugging Dark Ling Xiao tightly, leaning her head on his chest with a blissful expression. Yumeng, like the saintess of light, was regarded as a peerless goddess in the devil realm by countless people. Countless geniuses wanted to get close to her. But who would have thought? The pure, flawless, and inviolable goddess Yumeng was now lying in Ling Xiao's arms so intimately, making everyone go crazy with jealousy. Immediately, everyone looked at Darkness Ling Xiao with unkind and hostile gazes. You are dark sky soaring cloud. Don't you know that the God realm's heaven's chosen child, Ling Xiao, is a great enemy of our devil realm? You actually dare to call him by that name? Could it be that you're disloyal to our devil realm? Hong Qing stared at Darkness Ling Xiao and sneered. What the fuck? What does it have to do with you whether I'm called Ling Xiao or not? Even Demon King Yuan Lu was killed by Ling Xiao. How dare a stray dog like you bark at me? Do you believe that I won't kill you? Darkness Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with murderous intent as he stared at Hong Qing and spoke with disdain. Vulgar. Was the dignified holy son of darkness really so vulgar and unbearably vulgar? It's really the misfortune of the Dark Devil sect to have someone like you. I think the Dark Devil sect will be buried in your hands sooner or later. The Saint of Light shook his head and sighed. What does it have to do with you? We're all from the devil race. Do you really think that you're one of those weak humans who can recite poetry? That's just how I am. Bite me if you don't like it. Darkness Ling Xiao glanced at the Saint of Light and said, my husband is so powerful. Yumeng looked at Darkness Ling Xiao with admiration. Her eyes were filled with tenderness that could not be melted. Everyone was dumbfounded. They did not expect Darkness Ling Xiao to be more arrogant than they had imagined. As soon as he appeared, he began to scold Hong Qing and the Saint of Light, offending both of them. Darkness Ling Xiao, I think you want to die. Hong Qing was furious. A trace of cold killing intent appeared in his eyes. Ling Xiao's words made him feel greatly humiliated. The Saint of Light's eyes also flashed with a trace of coldness. Although he looked elegant, gentle, and incomparably holy, he was still a tyrannical devil race, just like what Darkness Ling Xiao had said. In the devil race's bones, only the strong were respected. They would only fight and kill if they were not convinced. My husband, these two guys are the saint and saintess of the previous generation of the Radiant Devil sect. They had become saints 1,000 years ago. Their strength is unfathomable and can't be underestimated. Be careful. Yumeng felt the killing intent of the Saint of Light and said slowly to Darkness Ling Xiao. 1,000 years ago, you became a saint, and now you're still in the saint realm. What a waste. Little Meng, watch your husband kill this bullshit saint, and then capture the saintess to be your sister. What do you think? Darkness Ling Xiao laughed proudly. His gaze fell on the saintess below. His gaze was extremely hot and aggressive, making the Saintess of Light feel a little uncomfortable and could not help but frown. My husband is so annoying. That little bitch has always thought of herself as noble and pure. I heard that she's still a virgin. I think she's just a hypocritical white lotus. My husband, if you capture her, the Radiant Devil sect will lose all face. Yumeng looked at the Saintess of Light with jealousy and said, as the saying goes, beautiful women always dislike each other. In the eyes of the devil race, although Yumeng was beautiful, the Saintess of Light was probably better. Naturally, Yumeng was unwilling to accept this. Although she was very obedient and gentle in front of darkness Ling Xiao, she still had the ruthlessness of the demon race in her bones. She even had a very perverted mentality, wanting to see the holy maiden of light delighting under darkness Ling Xiao's body. Boom! Everyone could feel a strong killing intent emanating from Hong Qing and the Saint of Light. They locked onto darkness Ling Xiao in front of them, as if they were going to attack him at any time. But at this moment, the elemental spirit tea tree at the top of the barren mountains suddenly shone brightly, releasing a 9-colored divine glow. The tea leaves unfolded, as if they were nourished by some kind of mysterious power, gently swaying. When they collided with each other, it was like the sound of jade beads hitting a jade plate, crisp and melodious. A strange fragrance emanated from the elemental spirit tea tree, causing everyone's spirits to soar. The elemental spirit tea tree is about to mature. Everyone was shocked, and their eyes were attracted by the elemental spirit tea tree, showing an extremely excited look. Chapter 2504. The elemental spirit tea tree was an innate spiritual root. Every time it matured, it would quickly disappear without a trace after the leaves fell off. It would only reappear the next time it matured. Therefore, although many people wanted to snatch the elemental spirit tea tree back, they had no way to do so. The elemental spirit tea tree seemed to have a wonderful connection with the elemental spirit realm. It could only grow in the elemental spirit realm. At this moment, the elemental spirit tea tree had matured. The 9-colored divine light bloomed, and it was as if the divine sound of the great path was emitted from the elemental spirit tea tree. The leaves looked sparkling and translucent, containing mysterious marks of the great path. They were incomparably exquisite and exuded a strange fragrance. Everyone's attention was attracted by the elemental spirit tea tree. Even darkness Ling Xiao, Hong Qing, and the Holy Son of Light had temporarily put aside their grudges. Their eyes shone with divine light as they prepared to snatch the elemental spirit tea tree at any time. Senior sister, Hong Qing and I will stop darkness Ling Xiao later. You go and snatch the elemental spirit tea tree. I want him to not get a single leaf. The Holy Son of Light said to the Holy Daughter of Light with a trace of coldness in his eyes. Okay, be careful. Darkness Ling Xiao is not simple. The Holy Daughter of Light said faintly. On the void chariot, Yumeng's eyes flashed. Husband, I think those guys are up to no good. When the elemental spirit tea leaves fall off, Hong Qing and the Holy Son of Light will definitely stop you. Why don't you leave that little bitch to me? She wants to get the elemental spirit tea tree alone. She's delusional. Oh, are you sure you can handle it? The Holy Daughter of Light should be at the great perfection of the Saint Realm. Darkness Ling Xiao said with interest. So what if she's at the great perfection of the Saint Realm? Husband, you taught me the supreme emperor technique of the Dark Demon Emperor. I can test its power on this bitch. Yumeng's eyes were full of eagerness. But I'll take care of Hong Qing and the Holy Son of Light first. Do these two ants think I'm easy to bully? Darkness Ling Xiao said with a sneer. On the barren mountain, many saints were on guard against each other. Their eyes were burning as they stared at the elemental spirit tea tree in front of them. The aura around them surged as they prepared to snatch the elemental spirit tea tree at any time. The strange phenomenon emitted by the elemental spirit tea tree became more and more astonishing. The mysterious fragrance also became more and more rich, causing people to feel refreshed. They actually felt as if they were floating in the clouds. Rumble. In the end, it was as if a bolt of lightning had exploded in the void. In an instant, the elemental spirit tea tree spewed out infinite divine light, and the 108 sparkling tea leaves shot out in all directions with a loud rumble. The elemental spirit tea tree quickly withered and disappeared without a trace. The elemental spirit tea leaves are ripe. They're all mine. Someone exclaimed. Everyone's eyes instantly turned red. One by one, they soared into the sky and grabbed at the elemental spirit tea leaves. Boom! But at this moment, a dark light burst out, causing the surrounding sky to shake violently. It was as if a dark ancient world had appeared in the void, emitting a wave of energy that could devour everything. Almost instantly, a small part of the elemental spirit tea leaves were swallowed by the dark ancient world. Darkness Ling Xiao, you're courting death. The holy son of light was furious, and his eyes revealed monstrous killing intent. His attention had always been on Darkness Ling Xiao, and he was ready to stop him at any time to create an opportunity for the holy son of light to snatch the elemental spirit tea leaves. However, he did not expect that Darkness Ling Xiao had already secretly set up a trap and snatched away dozens of elemental spirit tea leaves at lightning speed. This made him shocked and angry. Kill him. Hong Qing's eyes also flashed with a murderous aura. He instantly soared into the sky, and there was a sharp saber aura all around him. A palm saber chopped down toward the sky, vaguely forming a huge saber light in the sky, splitting the world into two halves. Only light can cleanse the darkness. Immeasurable light fist. The holy son of light punched at Darkness Ling Xiao, and his body was gushing with immeasurable light. The huge fist print was like a bright divine sun that illuminated everything. It contained an extremely fierce power, and it enveloped the celestial emperor's war chariot. With just the two of you? Darkness Ling Xiao's cold voice rang out, and in the next moment, an even more intense dark energy burst out. It was as if the sky had shattered, and a huge black demonic palm descended like a mountain, blocking Hong Qing and the holy son of light. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the dark ancient world once again unleashed a terrifying devouring power, sweeping towards the elemental spirit tea leaves. Swoosh! A blazing light bloomed majestically. It was like a river of light, instantly blocking the ancient darkness world and resisting the devouring power of the ancient darkness world. Then, the holy son of light silhouettes seemed to appear in the light, splitting into tens of thousands. They rushed towards the elemental spirit tea leaves and snatched dozens of elemental spirit tea leaves. Bitch, hand over the elemental spirit tea leaves. Yu Meng was furious. She did not expect the holy son of light to be able to block Ling Xiao's ancient darkness world. A sharp sword light pierced through the sky like a black light beam, and its speed was extremely fast. It directly pierced through the layers of shadows and headed towards the holy son of light. Yu Meng, you're no match for me. The saint lady of the light stepped into the air. Radiant light bloomed all around her, and the phantoms in the sky merged with her again. She looked holy and noble, with a faint smile on her flawless face. Her pure white wings spread out behind her, giving her an otherworldly aura. How would you know if you don't try? Yu Meng's eyes were filled with killing intent. The ancient sword in her palm bloomed with a blazing light, intertwining with the dark demonic aura, causing the void to tremble violently. It vaguely emitted a terrifying power that made one's primordial spirit tremble. An emperor technique? The holy son of light's eyes showed a trace of seriousness. She did not expect Yu Meng to have cultivated a supreme emperor technique, and it seemed that her attainments were quite high. The sharp sword aura made her cautious. Rumble! Yu Meng's entire body seemed to have merged with the sword in her hand, turning into a dark sword light, covering the sky and covering the earth, and heading towards the holy son of light. The two holy sons of Dark Devil Sect and Light Devil Sect seemed to be fated enemies, and an extremely fierce battle broke out in an instant. Ling Xiao of Darkness was also a little surprised. He did not expect the holy son of light to be able to block his ancient darkness world, and snatch dozens of elemental spirit tea leaves from the tiger's mouth. It seemed that Yu Meng was not her match. Chapter 2505. The current generation's Saint of Light is trash. You, the previous generation's Saint of Light, are also trash. Ling Xiao sneered. Boom. He didn't even look at Hong Qing. He directly punched out. The dark fist print was vast and mighty. It contained a powerful fluctuation. It collided with Hong Qing's saber aura. It directly shattered the saber aura that filled the sky. Hong Qing's entire body was sent flying. Dark Ling Xiao's gaze fell on the Saint of Light. The black demonic light around him formed runes that were like divine chains of order, entangling the Saint of Light. Dark Ling Xiao took advantage of the situation and pointed a finger at the Saint of Light's forehead. At this moment, Dark Ling Xiao was exuding a monstrous evil aura. It was vast and mighty, as if it had filled the entire world with monstrous demonic power. Compared to Hongqing and the Saint of Light, Darkling Shao was more like a demon, a peerless demon. What? Sage Great Perfection Realm? The Saint of Light's eyes were filled with disbelief. He did not expect Darkness Ling Shao to have reached the great perfection of the Saint Realm. However, over 100 years ago, Darkling Shao was only at the half-step Saint stage. In just a short 100 years, not only did he become a Saint stage saint, but he even broke through one realm in succession and reached the perfection Saint stage. The Saint of Light and the Saint of Light had cultivated in seclusion for thousands of years to reach their current realm. Boom! The Saint of Light did not dare to be careless in the face of Darkling Zhao's sharp finger. His expression was extremely gloomy. Boundless divine light gushed out from his body like flames, incinerating the divine chains of order. At the same time, the boundless light fist was extremely powerful and collided with the finger. An explosive sound was heard in the void, causing the surrounding void to tremble violently. It was the collision of darkness and light. The Holy Son of Light's fist glowed with a blood-red light. He staggered as he was sent flying. Darkling Shao, go to hell! Hongqing felt a great humiliation from dark soaring heaven's disregard. The flames of anger in his eyes were almost burning. A black broken blade appeared in his palm, emitting a strange cold light, making people feel cold all over with a glance. The broken blade rose in the void in an instant. The blade light was like the roar of a dragon and the roar of a tiger. It set off a monstrous storm and chopped down at Darkling Shao. A damaged Emperor weapon? A sharp light flashed in Ling Zhao's eyes as he felt a strong threat. The broken blade was actually emitting an extremely powerful Emperor's might. Although it was not comparable to a flawless Extreme Dao Emperor weapon, it was still able to unleash an extremely terrifying power. Cracks appeared in the void, and a void storm was set off. Dark soaring clouds was like an afterimage. He did not take the attack head-on. Instead, he moved away. The huge blade light directly split the barren mountain under everyone's feet into two halves. Then it was reduced to dust in an instant. Dark soaring clouds, weren't you arrogant? Why don't you dare to take my saber? Go to hell. Hongqing's eyes were filled with cold killing intent. With the broken blade in his hand, the power around him became more and more violent. Prison circle! The Holy Son of Light shouted angrily. He pressed down on dark soaring clouds with his palm. Countless light beams shot out from his palm and intertwined with each other, forming a prison that enveloped dark soaring clouds. This was the prison circle technique, the secret technique of the Radiant Demon sect. The Holy Son of Light felt a strong threat from dark soaring clouds earlier. At this moment, he did not hold back and displayed the supreme secret technique that he had cultivated. When the prison circle technique was displayed, even a true great saint expert would be imprisoned for a few breaths of time. When he saw Hongqing taking out a damaged Emperor weapon, he did not hesitate to cooperate with Hongqing. Boom, boom, boom. Dark soaring clouds threw out a punch like a dragon. It was ferocious and overbearing. However, the light energy around him let out a crisp sound of metal clashing. There were no signs of it breaking. Go to hell! Hongqing's face was filled with ferocious killing intent. The broken blade expanded in the void and turned into a huge saber light, slashing down on dark soaring clouds. A powerful emperor's aura spread out, causing everyone's body to tremble. Their eyes were filled with fear as they quickly moved away in all directions. Is dark soaring clouds going to die in Hongqing's hands? He's indeed the disciple of the Demon King of Yuanlu. I didn't expect him to have such a powerful weapon. Dark soaring clouds is too arrogant. I think he's courting his own death. Everyone was discussing animatedly as they looked at Hongqing with eyes full of fear. A flawless emperor weapon was the sect guarding treasure of a Holy Land sect. It was an existence that ensured the sect's fortune. Once it was awakened, it could erupt with unparalleled power and suppress the world. However, a damaged emperor weapon was still extremely powerful. Although Hongqing's cultivation was only in the saint realm, it was not difficult for him to challenge and kill a great saint with a damaged emperor weapon. As far as everyone was concerned, Darkness Soaring Sky would probably be unable to escape calamity this time. Rumble. Blazing divine light gushed out with a loud rumble. The dark soaring heavens erupted with peerless power, piercing through the huge prison around him, wanting to soar into the heavens. However, the huge saber light had already slashed down and locked him in place. There was no way for him to dodge, and he could only take the attack head-on. The blazing saber light whistled in the void, containing a murderous aura that could destroy everything. It was like a vast ocean, drowning dark soaring clouds in an instant. Is dark soaring clouds really dead? Everyone's eyes were filled with doubt as they stared at the place where the blazing saber light had erupted from. Even if it's a damaged Emperor weapon, it's not something a saint can withstand. Dark soaring clouds is dead for sure. The Saint of Light sneered. Rumble. The saber light that filled the sky shattered with a loud bang, and the vast momentum gradually dispersed. Everyone was able to see the scene within. Dark soaring clouds is not dead? Someone exclaimed. His eyes were filled with disbelief, and his voice was trembling. Everyone saw Dark Ling Xiao put his palms together and clamped down on the broken blade. A terrifying Emperor's aura erupted, causing the flesh on Dark Ling Xiao's arms to disappear completely. It was as if he had been sliced by 1,000 blades, leaving only 2 black bones behind. However, the 2 black bones contained a mysterious energy that clamped down on the broken blade. Even the extreme monarch aura couldn't do anything to Ling Xiao's bones. Chapter 2506. Although Hong Qing's broken blade was an incomplete Emperor weapon, it was not something that a mere sage's physical body could withstand. Everyone thought that Darkness Ling Xiao would definitely die under the blade, but they did not expect Ling Xiao to catch it with his palms. His bones are actually able to contend against an incomplete monarch weapon? How is this possible? Everyone's eyes were filled with disbelief. Even if one's physical body was extremely powerful, there was a limit to it. It was impossible for one to withstand the Extreme Emperor's aura. The Extreme Emperor's aura was the power of the Supreme God Realm, the most terrifying killing force in the world. It was not something that a Saint Dao expert could withstand. However, Ling Xiao seemed to have broken their understanding. Damn it! How can you withstand my mysterious underworld slash? Hong Qing's face was extremely ugly, and his eyes were filled with shock. Moreover, he realized that he could not pull his broken blade back from Darkness Ling Xiao's palms. Darkness Ling Xiao's palms seemed to contain some kind of mysterious power that imprisoned the broken blade. If you have a complete Extreme Dao Emperor weapon, I might not be a match for you. However, you dare to be so arrogant in front of me with just an incomplete Emperor weapon? Darkness Ling Xiao sneered. His eyes were extremely deep, and there was a cold, killing intent that filled the air. Rumble. Boundless demonic light gushed out from his body. It was vast and mighty like a canopy covering the sky. Unparalleled divine power gushed out from his palms, causing the broken blade to tremble violently in an instant. Darkness Ling Xiao kicked out in the air, and it landed on Hong Qing's chest, sending him flying. The broken blade flew out of his hand, and he lost control of it. Kill! Darkness Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with cold, killing intent. He charged forward and threw a punch at Hong Qing. The punch was extremely ferocious, and it contained a monstrous killing intent. It was as if it was going to blast a hole in the entire demon world. He was Ling Xiao's dark doppelganger condensed from the Origin demonic bone. The Origin demonic bone was a supreme treasure of the demonic Dao. Even the wordless heavenly book could not do anything to it, let alone a mere broken monarch weapon. Naturally, it could not cut off Ling Xiao's hands. Without the broken blade, Hong Qing was just an ordinary saint. How could he be a match for Ling Xiao? Under this punch, he instantly felt an extremely strong threat of death. Brother Light, save me! Hong Qing's eyes inevitably revealed a trace of fear, and he couldn't help but shout. Darkness soaring cloud, take my immeasurable radiance fist. The Saint of Light's eyes flashed sharply. Naturally, he couldn't confirm that Hong Qing had died in Ling Xiao's hands. He couldn't help but roar as boundless light radiated from his body. Rumble! A vast fist will burst out from his body, and a fist pressed down on Ling Xiao. It was as if a brilliant sun had fallen from the sky, enveloping Ling Xiao in a mighty manner. The boundless light was filled with mysterious fluctuations, dispelling all darkness and evil. Scram! Darkness Soaring Cloud didn't even look at the Saint of Light. He formed a fist with his other hand and struck across the sky, colliding with the Saint of Light's fist. In an instant, a vast divine light fluctuation was triggered, causing the void to tremble violently. The Saint of Light was directly sent flying by Darkness Soaring Cloud's punch. There seemed to be some kind of incomparably violent power awakening within Dark Soaring Cloud's body. His entire body was unstoppable. In an instant he arrived in front of Hong Qing. Then, a lightning-fast punch instantly blasted Hong Qing's chest. In the void, a bloody light filled the air, and a huge bloody hole appeared in Hong Qing's chest. His entire body was pierced through by Ling Xiao. Hong Qing coughed up blood violently, and his eyes were filled with extreme fear. He even revealed a hint of pleading. Darkness Soaring Cloud, Hong Qing's brother Hongzhan is a supreme saint elder of the primitive demon sect. If you dare to kill him, Hongzhan will definitely not let you off. The Holy Son of Light yelled and threatened Yiqingyu. The primitive demon sect, the immortal demon sect, and the blood prison demon sect were known as the three most powerful demon sects in the demon world. They were the orthodoxies of the three demon emperors. They were extremely powerful, and even the Darkness Demon Sect and the Radiant Demon Sect didn't dare to go against them. The Saint of Light was sure that the Darkness Demon Sect wouldn't dare to offend the Primitive Demon Sect. So what if you're from the Primitive Demon Sect? Anyone who offends me must die. Darkness Soaring Cloud sneered. He didn't take the Saint of Light's threat seriously at all. His arms spewed out violent demonic chi, and in an instant, Hong Qing's entire body was torn into pieces. He exploded into a bloody mist, and there wasn't even a corpse left. Even Hong Qing's primordial spirit was directly devoured by Darkness Soaring Cloud's ancient darkness world. The disciple of the Demon King of Yuanlu died in the hands of Darkness Soaring Cloud. Bastard! The Saint of Light's face instantly turned ugly. He couldn't believe that Darkness Soaring Cloud dared to offend the primitive demon sect. It was a supreme sanctuary with the primitive demon emperor. Saint of Light, it's your turn now. Darkness Soaring Cloud sneered and directly charged at the Saint of Light. Rumble! Demonic light rose from his body as a dark aura covered the sky and earth, seemingly enveloping the entire origin spirit realm. Emitting a terrifying aura that overflowed to the heavens, it was as if a peerless demon had been born. Darkness Soaring Cloud had obtained the scripture of darkness from the chaotic ancient land. In the past 100 years, he had cultivated several powerful emperor techniques to the greater mastery realm. Although the Saint of Light was powerful, he was still no match for Darkness Soaring Cloud. Although the Saint of Light tried his best to resist, he soon fell into a disadvantageous position, and the situation became dangerous. At this moment, apart from a few dozen leaves that were snatched by the other saints, most of them had fallen into the hands of Darkness Soaring Cloud and the Saint of Light. Everyone, you've all seen it. Most of the origin spirit tea has fallen into the hands of Darkness Soaring Cloud. Everyone, follow me to kill Darkness Soaring Cloud. I don't want any of the origin spirit tea on him. I'll give them all to everyone. The Saint of Light shouted at the crowd. Facing Darkness Soaring Cloud's terrifying combat strength, he was a little frightened. Knowing that he was no match for Darkness Soaring Cloud, he began to call for everyone to deal with Darkness Soaring Cloud together. You'll give us all the origin spirit tea? Many of the sages were suddenly tempted. Their eyes were burning with eagerness. Among them, only a few managed to snatch the origin spirit tea. Most of them didn't get the origin spirit tea and were unwilling to give up. After all, this was a treasure that affected whether they could break through to the Great Saint Realm as soon as possible. Even though they knew that Darkness Soaring Cloud was very powerful, they were still tempted. With the combined strength of dozens of saints, they might be able to kill Darkness Soaring Cloud. Chapter 2507. Those who stand in my way shall die. A murderous intent flashed in darkness Ling Xiao's eyes. His entire body exuded an invincible aura as he scanned the many saints before him. The saints felt as if they were being stared at by an ancient ferocious beast. Chills ran down their spines, and they did not dare to look darkness Ling Xiao in the eye. "Don't be afraid, everyone. He's only at the saint stage. Do you think he can defeat so many of us?" He snatched the origin spirit tea leaves. It's obvious that he wants to keep it for himself. "Kill him." Suddenly, someone roared. His voice was filled with temptation and encouragement. "Kill!" In the end, the greed in everyone's hearts prevailed over their fear. They all roared and charged toward darkness Ling Xiao. Rumble! Vast saintly might rose like a raging ocean, shrouding the entire origin spirit realm. Many of the saints performed powerful sacred techniques one after another, each of their attacks containing the power to destroy heaven and earth. Dozens of blazing divine lights blasted towards Ling Xiao across the sky. "Darkness Ling Xiao, let's see how you're going to survive." The Saint of Light's eyes were filled with cold, murderous intent. He also roused his spirits and performed the immeasurable radiance fist. His fist mark swept across the void. It was vast beyond compare. It turned into fist shadows that pressed down on darkness Ling Xiao from all directions. "There's a path to heaven, but you refuse to take it. There's no door to hell, but you barge in. Since all of you want to die, then all of you shall stay and be buried with me." Darkness Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with a cold light as he sneered. Boom! He stomped his foot, and his entire body erupted with a terrifying demonic aura. In an instant he soared into the sky. Dark light followed him into the sky, shrouding the entire sky. Endless darkness emanated from darkness Ling Xiao's body, as if it contained the power of the source of darkness. In an instant, it enveloped the entire Yuan spirit realm, turning it into a boundless night. Darkness Ling Xiao formed an invincible fist mark and stirred up the power of darkness in all directions. He was like an ancient ferocious beast wreaking havoc in the endless sea, erupting with frightening energy fluctuations. "Dark Emperor Fist," he said softly. An unparalleled fist imprint burst forth like an ancient mountain that separated the heavens and earth. It blocked the attacks of the dozens of saints and shattered with a loud bang. Ling Xiao was like a ghost in the darkness. His speed was so fast that even the saint's divine senses could not capture his location. In the next moment, Ling Xiao appeared behind a saint and punched through his chest. Blood filled the air and the saint's eyes were filled with terror. Then he exploded in the darkness. His flesh, blood, and nascent divinity were silently devoured by the surrounding darkness. Ling Xiao looked as if he had just crushed an ant. His expression was cold and emotionless. Then he instantly hid in the darkness and charged towards another saint. He silently appeared behind another saint, then crushed his neck and slapped his head into his body. The dark origin power gushing out of his palm instantly invaded his body, assimilating his primordial spirit and the saint power in his body. Then, with a bang, that saint exploded into a stretch of black fog, blending into the surrounding darkness. Rumble! The immeasurable light fist of the Saint of Light was originally the nemesis of darkness. It could cleanse all darkness. However, at this moment, it was suddenly plunged into darkness. His fist mark was like a candle flame in the endless darkness that could be extinguished at any time. This is the legendary scripture of darkness. Impossible, the scripture of darkness has been lost for a long time. How can you perform the supreme emperor technique of the scripture of darkness? The Saint of Light's eyes were filled with disbelief and horror. His expression was extremely ugly. He was currently deep in the darkness and could barely protect himself, let alone help the saints who were attacking Ling Xiao of Darkness. The Saint of Light suddenly realized that Ling Xiao of Darkness had not unleashed his full combat strength. He had instigated everyone to attack Ling Xiao of Darkness at the same time, which had completely infuriated him. In the ancient darkness world, the Dark Emperor Fist was rampaging in all directions. Screams of saints could be heard from time to time. Those saints were mostly in the early or middle stage of the saint realm. They were no match for Ling Xiao of Darkness. Ling Xiao of Darkness's cultivation had not only reached the great perfection of the Saint Realm, but he had also obtained the inheritance of the Dark Emperor, the Scripture of Darkness. Ling Xiao of Darkness could even fight against a supreme saint, let alone a mere saint. Spare me! Lord Ling Xiao, spare me! I won't dare to do it again. Those saints who wanted to snatch the elemental spirit tea leaves were wailing like ghosts and howling like wolves. Each and every one of them had an incomparably horrified look on their faces. They no longer had the slightest bit of fighting spirit as they screamed one after another, trying to escape the range of the dark ancient world. However, Ling Xiao did not care about them at all. He was still ruthlessly attacking. The Dark Emperor fist stirred up endless dark light and swept across the void, constantly reaping the lives of those saints. For Ling Xiao of Darkness's ancient darkness world, the primordial spirits and flesh of those saints were the best nourishment. They could help the ancient darkness world evolve rapidly. Rumble! When Ling Xiao unleashed his strongest punch and killed the last saint, his gaze fell on the Holy Son of Light. Instantly, the Holy Son of Light felt a fatal threat. Boundless dark origin energy rose like a raging sea. It gathered into a huge dark windstorm and pressed down on the Saint of Light with great force. Get out of my way! The Holy Son of Light's expression was very ugly. There was even a trace of unconcealable fear in his eyes. He did not expect Ling Xiao of Darkness to be so fierce. There were dozens of saints, but they were all killed by Ling Xiao of Darkness. Rumble! The Holy Son of Light spewed out blazing rays of light, causing the surrounding sky to tremble violently. The blood in his body exuded a holy and ethereal aura. An incomparably mysterious illusory figure seemed to appear behind him. That figure bloomed with endless light, as if it was the center of endless light in the heavens and the myriad worlds. It was the source of all light. He slowly stretched out a palm and gently slapped toward Ling Xiao. This is the Light Emperor? A divine light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. Just like how the Dark Demon sect worshipped the Dark Emperor, the Light Demon sect worshipped the Light Emperor. He was the legendary source of light and the founder of the Light Scripture. Of course, this was not the real body of the Light Emperor. It was just a trace of the Light Emperor's brand that the Holy Son of Light summoned with the Light Demon sect's cultivation technique. Chapter 2508. Although it was only a mark, the terrifying aura caused the surrounding ancient darkness world to tremble violently. It was as if it would shatter at any moment. Boom! The dark storm was instantly shattered by the palm. It melted like snow and disappeared without a trace. The palm broke open the ancient darkness world and brought the Saint of Light out of the area shrouded by the ancient darkness world. At the same time, it suppressed Dark Ling Xiao. How dare a mere mark show off its power? Dark Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with killing intent as he revealed an unruly expression. The dark origin energy around him gushed out and the Dark Emperor fist exploded. Bang! A buzzing sound erupted in the void. Then it exploded with a loud bang. The collision of darkness and light and the explosion of two extreme powers seemed to open up a mysterious chaotic void. Dark Ling Xiao could not help but tremble as he retreated involuntarily. The mark of the great Light Emperor shattered inch by inch. Then, with a loud boom, it exploded into a dazzling rain of light and disappeared without a trace. The Holy Son of Light spat out a mouthful of blood. His aura became dispirited and weak. He swayed and almost fell from the sky. Although the Light Emperor's mark was powerful, it caused him to suffer an unimaginable backlash at this moment. Die! Dark Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of cold killing intent. He pointed a finger at Dark Ling Xiao's forehead. The finger radiance was extremely sharp, like a black beam of light that wanted to pierce through everything. The Saint of Light had no way of dodging the finger. He could not help but reveal a trace of despair in his eyes. Clang! Suddenly, a resplendent sword light burst forth, illuminating the boundless darkness. Boundless sword chi condensed into a heaven-piercing sword and collided with Ling Xiao's finger, blocking this sure-kill attack. Saint of Ling Xiao, we admit defeat. Let him go and we'll call it quits. How about that? An extremely clear and pleasant voice rang out. Dark Ling Xiao took a closer look and realized that it was the Saint of Light who had unleashed the sword. At this moment, she floated over and stood in front of the Saint of Light. Her face was cold and beautiful as she looked at Dark Ling Xiao indifferently. "Husband, this bitch is too powerful. I'm not her match." Yu Meng also flew to Ling Xiao's side, but her breathing seemed to be a little chaotic and her eyes were full of fear. She had received the supreme emperor skill from the scripture of darkness that Ling Xiao had taught her. She thought she could suppress the Saintess of Light with the emperor skill, but she did not expect the Saintess of Light to be so strong. She quickly gained the upper hand, and Yu Meng was about to lose. Fortunately, the Saint of Light was distracted by the battle between Ling Xiao and the others. She stepped in to save the Saint of Light. Otherwise, Yu Meng would have been defeated by the Saint of Light. "You are much stronger than this trash. Do you think it's possible for me to let him go with just a simple sentence of admitting defeat?" Dark Ling Xiao looked at the Saintess of Light in surprise, then sneered. Although the Saint Lady of Light and the Saint Son of Light seemed to be at the Sage Realm great perfection, their strength was stronger than the Saint Son of Light. This surprised Ling Xiao. However, Ling Xiao did not intend to let the Saint of Light go. The Saint of Light's words could not affect Ling Xiao at all. "Then what do you want?" The Saintess of Light frowned slightly and said indifferently. She had seen how Dark Soaring Firmament had killed so many saints. She had no choice but to admit that she was no match for Dark Soaring Firmament. "If you want me to let him go, I can. As long as you promise to be my woman, I will spare his life." Dark Ling Xiao stared unscrupulously at the Saintess of Light and said. His eyes were burning and full of aggression, which made the Saintess of Light feel very uncomfortable. She had never met someone like Dark Ling Xiao. Normally, all the geniuses she met would be extremely respectful to her. They were like elegant young masters. How could they be as domineering as Dark Ling Xiao? "Don't even think about it." The Saint of Light was trembling with anger. He pointed at Ling Xiao with trembling fingers and said with gritted teeth, "As the Saint of Light and the Saintess of the Demon Sect of Light, the Saint of Light had long regarded the Saintess of Light as his woman. Although they had not officially dual cultivated, the Saint of Light was furious that Dark Ling Xiao had taken a fancy to the Saintess of Light. "If you don't agree, you will die." Dark Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with killing intent. Instantly, the Saint of Light shuddered and his face turned pale. He felt that Dark Ling Xiao really dared to kill him. "Saint of Dark Ling Xiao, are you trying to start a war between the Demon Sect of Light and the Demon Sect of Darkness? If the two of us die in your hands, the Saint Ruler Grand Elder of the Demon Sect of Light will be furious. He will hunt you down to the ends of the earth." The Saintess of Light frowned, and her voice turned cold. She had not expected Dark Ling Xiao to say such a thing. He wanted the Saintess of Light to be his woman? That was simply wishful thinking. Although the Saintess of Light looked cold and elegant on the surface, she was extremely arrogant. She looked down on the Saint of Light and naturally looked down on Dark Ling Xiao. She had already decided to devote her life to the Great Tao and would not become anyone's partner. War? Didn't the war between the Demon Sect of Light and the Demon Sect of Darkness start long ago? Saintess of Light, it is your honor to be my woman. As for the Saint of Light, I can spare his life as long as he is willing to acknowledge me as his master and give me his origin spirit." Dark Ling Xiao laughed. His eyes were filled with a domineering and cold expression. "Impossible. Don't even think about it." The Saintess of Light and the Saint of Light's expressions changed. They had not expected Dark Ling Xiao to be so crazy. Controlling their origin spirits was equivalent to controlling their lives. From then on, their lives would be in Dark Ling Xiao's hands. The Saintess of Light and the Saint of Light would never agree to it. "Then it is not up to you. Today, not only will all the elemental spirit tea be mine, but the two of you will also be mine." Dark Ling Xiao sneered. Boom! Endless darkness rose around him. The ancient darkness world instantly spread toward the Saintess of Light and the Saint of Light. It contained the power of the origin of darkness. The Saintess of Light and the Saint of Light's expression changed drastically. Without thinking, they wanted to teleport away. You want to leave? You'd better stay here obediently. Dark Ling Xiao's body flashed. Like a black shadow, he instantly pierced through the layers of void and appeared behind the two of them. Then he punched out with unparalleled ferocity. Chapter 2509. Boom. The Darkness Emperor fist was unparalleled and contained the peerless divine might of the Dark Emperor. The powerful fist intent rushed towards the Saintess, causing her to reveal a solemn expression. There was an ancient sword in her palm that emitted a dazzling light. It was extremely sharp and pierced towards Ling Xiao's fist. Clang. The sound of metal clashing rang out, causing the surrounding void to shake violently. The ancient sword was directly sent flying by Darkness Emperor Ling Xiao's fist. The mighty ancient darkness world descended, completely enveloping the Saint Sun and Saintess of Light. The entire origin spirit realm became a world of darkness. Rumble. In the sky above the ancient darkness world, there was an ancient heavenly wheel slowly rotating. It seemed to be the source of darkness, burying all life, light, and the world in endless darkness. An extremely terrifying extreme emperor aura erupted, causing the Saintess and Saint Son of Light to feel as if they had fallen into an icy abyss. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. Extreme Emperor weapon? How could you have an extreme Emperor weapon? The Saint Son of Light roared, as if he was about to go crazy. The vast Emperor aura that erupted from the ancient heavenly will seem to be able to crush everything. It caused the Saintess and Saint Son of Light to lose all will to resist. Their bodies trembled as despair filled their hearts. They never thought that Darkness Emperor Ling Xiao would have a flawless extreme Emperor weapon. Darkness Emperor Ling Xiao floated in the sky above the ancient darkness world. The ancient heavenly wheel in his palm seemed to be able to rotate the heavens, emitting a ferocious and invincible aura. Now, tell me your choice. Do you want to live or die? Darkness Emperor Ling Xiao's voice was like thunder, rumbling in the ancient darkness world. The flawless extreme Emperor weapon in his hand was called the Dark Heavenly Wheel. It was a supreme treasure that he had obtained in the chaotic ancient land. It was once the weapon of the Dark Emperor. After Darkness Emperor Ling Xiao obtained the inheritance of the Darkness Scripture, he had been searching for the whereabouts of the Dark Heavenly Wheel. However, he had been unable to find it. In the end, when Dark Cloud became the Chosen One and received the blessing of the Heavenly Tao, the ancient land of primal chaos split open. Only then did Dark Cloud sense the whereabouts of the Dark Heavenly Wheel and bring it back. For the past 100 years, he had been circulating the Dark Scripture to nurture the Dark Heavenly Wheel. At this moment, he was about to completely control the Dark Heavenly Wheel. The Holy Maiden and Holy Son of the Holy Light, who originally wanted to resist, instantly lost all thoughts of resisting when they saw the Dark Heavenly Wheel. Sensing the cold killing intent from Darkness Ling Xiao, the radiant Saint Sun knew that if he didn't agree, Darkness Ling Xiao would really kill him. I agree. The Saint of Light gritted his teeth as his face turned extremely pale. He used to think that death was nothing to be afraid of. For the sake of his dignity and the legacy of the Radiance Demon Sect, he could face death with equanimity. But when he felt that the threat of death was so real, he realized that living was more important than anything else. It was more important than his dignity and perseverance. He treated this as enduring humiliation. That's right, he had to endure humiliation for the greater good. Although the Holy Son of Light hated Dark Firmament to the core, he had no choice but to hand over his origin spirit. A dazzling light flew out from the Holy Son of Light's glabella. It looked like a dazzling little person with the exact same appearance as the Holy Son of Light. It was his origin spirit. Darkness Ling Xiao blended his origin spirit into his sea of consciousness without hesitation, establishing a master-servant relationship with the Holy Son of Light. As long as Darkness Ling Xiao willed it, the Holy Son of Light would suffer a fate worse than death. What about you? Darkness Ling Xiao stared at the Holy Maiden of Light and said indifferently, I'd rather die. But don't even think about becoming your woman. The Holy Maiden of Light didn't even look at the Holy Son of Light. Her expression was indifferent, as if she didn't care about life or death at all. You're not afraid of death? Not bad, not bad. You're much better than a spineless junior brother like you. But I like to force people to do things against their will. It's not up to you if you don't want to be my woman. Dark Ling Xiao slowly walked up to the Saintess of Light. He reached out a finger and lifted the Saintess' chin as he smiled coldly. A pink mist appeared in Darkness Ling Xiao's palm. He flicked his finger, and the pink mist instantly entered the Holy Maiden of Light's mouth and nose, disappearing without a trace. What did you put in my body? The Holy Maiden of Light's expression changed. She stared at Darkness Ling Xiao and asked coldly. The pink mist seemed to be some kind of energy. After entering the Holy Maiden of Light's body, she felt warm all over. There was an indescribable comfort that made her almost moan out loud. That's good stuff. Holy Maiden, this is the elixir recipe I saw in an ancient book. It's a treasure that uses the yang qi of the dragon spirit as the main ingredient and more than 100 precious sacred herbs to refine. It's called the Buddha's Big Club. In a while, you'll be able to experience the bliss of this treasure. Darkness Ling Xiao said with a smile. He didn't care about the Holy Maiden of Light. With a wave of his sleeve, a stone table and a few stone stools appeared in front of him. There was a tea set on the stone table. He put a piece of elemental spirit tea into the teapot, and then poured boiling rootless water over it. Suddenly, a rich tea aroma filled the teapot. Darkness Ling Xiao poured 3 cups of tea and smiled at Yu Meng. Little Meng, do you want to have a cup of tea? This is tea made from elemental spirit tea. Ah, you bad guy. Yu Meng's cheeks were flushed. She rolled her eyes at Darkness Ling Xiao and said, but in the end she couldn't resist the temptation of elemental spirit tea. She walked over and sat down. She picked up a cup of tea and drank it in one gulp. Goody. Yu Meng's eyes suddenly lit up. The tea looked very ordinary, but there was a strange tea aroma. But when the tea entered her stomach, it instantly turned into a strange energy. It flowed through Yu Meng's limbs and rushed into the sky. It directly entered her sea of consciousness and merged with her primordial spirit. Yu Meng seemed to have fallen into a state of enlightenment. Strange Great Way principles appeared around her body. Runes condensed. Her whole person seemed to be exuding a somewhat holy aura. Buddha's Big Stick? Could it be a Buddhist pill? What a strange name. The Holy Maiden of Light was slightly stunned. She felt that the thing that Darkness Ling Xiao had just integrated into her body was strange. But soon she felt that something was wrong. A strange flame rose from her lower abdomen, as if igniting the fire in her heart, causing her entire body to become incomparably hot. Her skin emitted a strange red glow, as if some kind of primitive desire had emerged from the bottom of her heart. Ling Xiao, bastard! The Holy Maiden of Light glared at Darkness Ling Xiao. But soon she became weak all over. Even her words became very gentle, which made people's hearts flutter. Chapter 25:10. The Holy Maiden of Light seemed to have forgotten everything, but she could still clearly remember those crazy, heart-pounding and blushing scenes. She remembered that her heart was in a mess. After thousands of years of cultivation, her state of mind had long been unaffected. Love and mortal desires were all gone. She felt that she had to dedicate her life to the great Tao. Even the holy son of the Light Saint was nothing to her. However, Darkness Ling Xiao easily destroyed everything. That thing called the Buddha's cudgel stimulated the most primitive desire in her heart, causing her to sink into depravity. Those crazy scenes made her feel both ashamed and angry when she thought of them. She wanted nothing more than to die. After dark soaring clouds fed her the Buddha's cudgel, he didn't take any further action. Instead, he slowly brewed the tea. The fragrance of the elemental spirit tea permeated the air. It could allow people to comprehend the will of the heavens and get closer to the great Tao. It was supposed to be a supreme treasure for eliminating inner demons. However, for some reason, the Saint of Light became crazier after drinking a cup of it. She remembered that she was the one who tore her clothes. She remembered that she was the one who wriggled her body in front of Darkness Ling Xiao, posing as if she was ready for him. Where was she? She remembered that she was the one who moaned and begged Darkness Lingxiao to take her quickly. She even took the initiative to tear Darkness Lingxiao's clothes, even in front of Yu Meng. She remembered Darkness Lingxiao's strong body, the crazy thrusts and output, the heart-pounding entanglement, the blissful bliss that she had never experienced before. The boundless feeling of spring was like a surging wave, making her want to die in that kind of bliss. The Holy Maiden of Light finally understood what the Buddha's cudgel was, especially after she touched it with her own hands. The strength that made her tremble and feel ashamed was a desire that even Buddha could not endure. This was an inner demon. That's right, the Holy Maiden of Light told herself that this was an inner demon, and those crazy scenes were all illusions. Rumble. However, at this moment, in the origin spirit realm, there was a vast heavenly might rising. Endless lightning raged in the sky above, intertwining like lightning dragons, emitting destructive energy waves. Majestic power gushed out of Darkness Lingxiao and the Holy Maiden of Light's bodies, causing their cultivation to instantly surpass the Saint Perfection realm and break through to the Great Saint realm. This was the Holy Tribulation. The Saint of Light could not believe it herself. The power in her body was more than a few times stronger than before. The Tao fruit in her body was rapidly transforming into a saintly path origin root, and her aura was becoming more and more terrifying. Her entire body exuded an ethereal aura of a divine tribulation. The veil on her face was also reduced to dust by the lightning, revealing a flawless face. This is great. Saintess, you've already become my woman. Are you satisfied with this dual cultivation? If it weren't for me, who knows how many years it would take for you to break through to the great sage realm? His face was filled with a domineering, callous, and untamed expression. He radiated with a terrifying aura. The aura on his body was completely different from that of the Saint of Light. It was filled with an ancient dark aura. The dark power was getting purer and purer, but it gave people an illusion of holiness. On the other hand, the Holy Maiden of Light was emitting boundless light. Her white robe fluttered in the wind like a fairy. She looked otherworldly, but there seemed to be a hint of darkness in her. Dual cultivation? The Holy Maiden of Light trembled. Her face instantly paled, and her eyes were filled with shame and anger. She kept telling herself that it was an illusion, but Dark Sky's words almost completely shattered her Tao heart. That's right, dual cultivation. Dark Sky had used an extremely despicable method to forcefully take her body. He had also used the power of the elemental spirit Ti to plunge the two of them into a state of incomparable madness. The collision of darkness and light was both a conflict and a fusion. The descent of the great Tao precepts was enlightenment and also a breakthrough. Dark Sky and the Holy Maiden of Light's dual cultivation allowed them to become one. The fusion of darkness and light allowed them to cross the Saint realm and directly break through to the Great Sage realm. Thinking of this, the joy of breaking through was completely overshadowed by shame and anger. The Holy Maiden of Light trembled all over. She wanted nothing more than to kill Dark Sky. Guard your mind and go through the tribulation well. Don't let your imagination run wild. If you want to thank me, why don't you wait until after the tribulation and we have a proper dual cultivation? Why are you so impatient now? Dark Sky's voice was like thunder, exploding in the Holy Maiden of Light's mind. She couldn't help but tremble all over. Suddenly, all the distracting thoughts in her mind disappeared, and her state of mind became calm again. That's right, she was going through the Great Sage Tribulation now. If she was distracted during the Great Sage Tribulation, it would be an extremely dangerous thing. One careless mistake and she would die without a burial place. Looking at Dark Sky's insolent laughter, then directly rushed into the sky, exuding an aura of disdain for the world. The Holy Maiden of Light gnashed her teeth in hatred, but at this moment, she could only suppress all of it in the bottom of her heart and begin the tribulation. Rumble. Blazing lightning descended from the 9 heavens. That was the heavenly way's thunder punishment, containing the power to destroy everything. For cultivators, it was both an opportunity and a danger. In all the worlds, even if it was a saint who was going through a tribulation, There was no lack of idiots who died under the tribulation because they were not prepared or had a weak foundation. However, Dark Sky stood in the sky without any resistance. His eyes were filled with an unruly aura of disdain for the world. Black demonic light surged around his body, and he was using his physical body to withstand the thunder punishment. Bolts of lightning fell on Dark Sky's body, like silver snakes dancing wildly. Thunder dragons roared, containing the power of the Great Thunder Tribulation. Although Dark Sky's physical body was strong, under this terrifying Great Sage Tribulation, it quickly became a bloody mess. Many dense bloody marks appeared on his body. You want to deal with this level of heavenly tribulation? Let the heavenly tribulation come more violently. Dark Sky laughed loudly. His voice was full of arrogance, and an unruly aura emanated from his body, as if it could pierce this side of the sky. Boom! In the end, dark soaring clouds actually opened his mouth and swallowed. Endless darkness gushed out. His mouth seemed to be connected to a vast world, containing a terrifying devouring power. He swallowed all the thunderbolts that filled the sky into his stomach. Blazing light gushed out from his body, and his aura became more and more fierce. Bolts of lightning raged around his body, terrifying to the extreme. Chapter 25:11. The heavenly axioms seemed to have been enraged by Dark Lingxiao. The lightning above the 9 heavens surged even more violently. An ancient lightning pool appeared. Black lightning rose faintly and turned into countless shadows of ancient ferocious demons. They blotted out the sky and covered the earth as they charged towards He Lingxiao. Kill! The battle intent in Dark Lingxiao's eyes soared. He could sense the boundless energy in his body and felt incomparably carefree. He directly soared up into the sky and actually dashed into the lightning pool, engaging in a great battle with the phantoms of the ancient demons. Rumble! Endless divine light bloomed, and the void trembled. A terrifying aura erupted, sweeping away the endless mist above the origin spirit realm. Dark Lingxiao's terrifying aura also awakened Yu Meng, and the Holy Son of Light, who had fallen into the Tao comprehension realm. Yu Meng and the Holy Son of Light had both consumed the origin spirit Ti, and with the help of that mysterious power, they entered the Tao comprehension realm and began to cultivate. Therefore, the two of them did not see the scene of Dark Lingxiao and the Holy Son of Light going crazy. Yu Meng was one thing, but if he were to see the Saintess of Light enjoying Dark Cloud's body with his own eyes, she would probably only feel endless pleasure and excitement. However, the Holy Son of Light was different. If he had seen it, he would have wanted to kill Dark Lingxiao. Life and death were bullshit. A man's dignity was the most important. However, Dark Lingxiao did not want the poor child to suffer too much of a blow to his self-esteem, so he did not let the Holy Son of Light see anything that he should not see. A cup of origin spirit tea allowed both of them to break through to the Great Saint realm. How is this possible? Why didn't I break through? The Holy Son of Light's eyes were filled with disbelief, and he said rather gloomily. After drinking a cup of elemental spirit tea, he felt that his cultivation had indeed improved a lot. Even his inner demons had dissipated. He estimated that as long as he was given a few more years, he would definitely be able to break through to the Great Sage realm. But why did Dark Lingxiao and the Holy Son of Light break through so quickly? The Holy Son of Light's gaze fell on Dark Lingxiao and the Holy Son of Light, revealing a trace of suspicion. He felt that the two in front of him looked a little strange, and had the temperament of an adulterous couple. Could it be that this pair of adulterous couple had just done something shameful? The Holy Son of Light cursed in his heart. As expected of my husband. He is destined to rule the world and become the 4th demon emperor of the demon realm. Yu Meng's eyes were shining, and her eyes were full of admiration. Rumble! The might of Darkness Lingxiao's tribulation was incomparably terrifying. He slaughtered his way into the lightning pool and fought against the imprints of countless primordial devils. At the same time, he was absorbing the lightning energy of heaven and earth to temper himself. His aura grew stronger and stronger. Compared to Darkness Lingxiao, the Light Saintess Thunder Tribulation was much quieter. She easily neutralized the bolts of lightning. In the end, the inner demon tribulation came. The Saintess of Light sat cross-legged in the void with a look of pain on her face. There was a black devil chi around her that made her aura a little unstable. She even showed signs of chi deviation. Although those lightning tribulations couldn't do anything to the Holy Maiden of Light, her body had just been taken over by darkness soaring sky, which destroyed the beliefs she had held onto for many years. Although she forcibly suppressed her chaotic thoughts, those crazy scenes from the inner demon tribulation appeared in front of her eyes again, causing her to panic. Not good. Senior sister is going to chi deviation? The light saint's body trembled, and his eyes immediately showed an extremely anxious look. How is it possible? The Saintess of Light is actually going to chi deviation? Could it be that my husband's influence on her is too great? Yu Meng's eyes were also filled with disbelief. Boom. The Saintess of Light sat cross-legged in the void. There seemed to be an extremely dense black devil chi surging in the dazzling light around her, spreading toward her body. The Saintess of Light was trembling all over, and her face was abnormally flushed. It was as if she had fallen into a nightmare and couldn't extricate herself. If this continued, the Saintess of Light would definitely die in the inner demon tribulation. However, at this moment, darkness soaring sky instantly broke through the lightning that filled the sky. Even the inner demon tribulation that enveloped him was swallowed by him without any hesitation. He was decisive and cold. He wouldn't give up until he achieved his goal. A mere inner demon tribulation couldn't affect him at all. Instead, he swallowed it and turned it into his own nourishment. At this moment, he also noticed the abnormality of the Saintess of Light. Suddenly, a sharp light flashed in his eyes, and he flew directly toward the Saintess of Light. Darkness soaring sky took out a crystal-clear elemental spirit tea leaf and put it into the Saintess of Light's mouth. At the same time, he pointed his finger at the space between her eyebrows. The power of darkness origin surged and spread toward the Saintess of Light's primordial spirit. The scripture of darkness was the supreme imperial scripture created by the Dark Emperor. It contained the power of darkness origin, and there was nothing it couldn't contain. The inner demon tribulation might be avoided by others, but for the scripture of darkness, it could be directly swallowed and turned into nourishment for the scripture of darkness. Rumble. As if the heavenly axiom had noticed that darkness soaring sky was helping the Saintess of Light to go through the tribulation, blazing lightning rose in an instant. At the same time, the inner demon tribulation surged even more violently. It was like a black sea, attacking darkness soaring sky and the Saintess of Light. Open up! A murderous intent flashed in darkness soaring sky's eyes. He punched toward the sky. The vast fist print was like a huge mountain, blocking the lightning in the sky. He looked up to the sky and roared. There seemed to be an ancient world of darkness surging around him, swallowing the inner demon tribulation that was surging toward them. The Saintess of Light had already fallen into the inner demon tribulation and was in great danger. It seemed like she would be completely swallowed by the inner demon tribulation at any time. However, darkness soaring sky made a move and instantly swallowed the inner demon tribulation in her body with the scripture of darkness. At the same time, the elemental spirit tea leaf turned into a mysterious power, instantly waking her up and nourishing her damaged primordial spirit. At the same time, it allowed her to mobilize the vast precepts of heaven and earth to complete the final transformation. He saved me. The Saintess of Light's heart trembled. She looked at darkness soaring sky's figure in front of her. His domineering aura made her feel a strange emotion, and her gaze became incomparably complicated. Although she knew that the reason why she was so flustered, lost her mind, and was almost swallowed by the inner demon tribulation was because of darkness soaring sky, she didn't know why, but at this moment, she felt an incomparable sense of security. Rumble. The lightning in the sky was swept away by darkness soaring sky. Soon, as the Saintess of Light passed through the inner demon tribulation, the two's divine tribulations also ended. Darkness soaring sky and the Saintess of Light exuded a vast divine aura, causing the surrounding void to tremble violently. They had both broken through to the great saint realm. Chapter 25:12. The dark origin power around Dark Lingxiao rose. It was vast and boundless, containing a destructive aura fluctuation. After he broke through to the Great Saint Realm, he was more and more like an emperor born from the darkness, dominating the life and death of all living things. The Saint of Light looked even more holy. Her aura was ethereal and mysterious. Her body emitted boundless light, making the void around her extremely dazzling. The Holy Maiden of the Light looked at Darkness Lingxiao with a strange look in her eyes. Logically speaking, she should hate Dark Lingxiao. However, for some reason, she didn't feel the slightest bit of hatred when facing Dark Lingxiao. Instead, there was an indescribable emotion in her heart. You can't even overcome the inner demon tribulation. I see that you, the Saint of Light, don't lean towards the light. I think it's best for you to join my dark demon sect. Dark Lingxiao smiled at the Saint of Light. Lingxiao, thank you for saving me. Although the Holy Maiden of the Light was filled with all sorts of emotions, she still looked indifferent on the surface as she spoke to Lingxiao calmly. You're welcome. You're my woman. Saving my woman is a matter of course. Dark Lingxiao smiled proudly. The Saint of Light didn't refute Lingxiao's words. Instead, she raised her head and said seriously, if I'm not wrong, you must have inherited the Dark Lord's legacy, right? Do you know the origin of the Dark Demon Sect and the Light Demon Sect? Dark Lingxiao was stunned when he heard the Saint of Light's sudden question. However, he still nodded and said, that's right. I did inherit the Dark Lord's legacy. Didn't the Dark Demon Sect and the Light Demon Sect become the 10 sects of the demon realm because they inherited the Dark Lord and the Light Emperor's legacy? You're right. The Dark Lord and the Light Emperor are two very ancient great emperors in the demon realm. Legend has it that countless eras ago, they were innate divine demons born from chaos. The Dark Lord controlled darkness while the Light Emperor controlled light. They created the Darkness Scripture and the Light Scripture respectively. Even the secret skill of light and darkness recorded in the wordless heavenly book is said to have a strange connection with them. The Saint of Light nodded. Light and darkness secret technique? A strange look appeared in Dark Soaring Zhao's eyes. He naturally knew about the secret art of light and darkness. Because his body had obtained the secret art of 12 heaven skills, it meant that he also knew about it. The secret art of light and darkness was indeed incomparably mysterious. Dark Soaring Zhao had once comprehended a part of it, but he was still unable to achieve great success. My Radiant Demon Sect is the same as your Dark Demon Sect. The complete Radiant Light Scripture was lost countless years ago. Now, our sect only has an incomplete Radiant Light Scripture. However, I've recently discovered a secret realm that might contain the inheritance of the Light Scripture. Are you interested in coming with me to search for the Light Scripture? The Saint of Light stared at Lingxiao and asked, why are you looking for me? Don't you hate me so much that you want to kill me? Darkness Lingxiao said with a faint smile. That secret realm is extremely dangerous. Even though I have the cultivation of the Great Sage realm now, I don't have much confidence. If you come with me, there's a high chance that you'll get the Light Scripture. Furthermore, you saved me, so this can be considered as repayment for your life-saving grace. The Holy Maiden of Light said coldly. Alright, I admit that I'm tempted. Where's that secret realm? Darkness Lingxiao said with a nod. Perhaps you Meng and the Saint of Light did not know, but when Darkness Lingxiao and the Saint of Light were dual cultivating, they both understood that the collision and fusion of darkness and light would bring great benefits and supreme fortune to both of them. Both of them had a vague feeling that if they could cultivate the Light Scripture and the Darkness Scripture at the same time, they would be able to unleash unimaginable mysterious scenes. In the past, the Radiant Demon Sect and the Dark Demon Sect were like fire and water. But now, Darkness Lingxiao and the Saint of Light saw another kind of hope. Cultivating both light and darkness at the same time, the hope of transcending everything. That secret realm is the heavenly starry cloud sea. The Saint of Light said with a burning gaze. Heavenly starry cloud sea? Darkness Lingxiao's eyes flashed with a sharp light. Although he had not been in the demon realm for long, he had heard of the heavenly starry cloud sea. The heavenly starry cloud sea was an extremely mysterious secret realm in the center of the demon realm. It was located above the 9 heavens, and there were continents formed from stars. There were endless clouds floating in it, and there were some living creatures living there. However, it was no less dangerous than the Yuanling's secret realm. Most importantly, the heavenly starry cloud sea was located in the territory of the primitive demon sect. The primitive demon sect was the orthodoxy of the primitive demon emperor, one of the 3 most powerful places in the demon realm. If the light scripture was in the heavenly starry cloud sea, the primitive demon sect might have discovered its secrets. Does the primitive demon sect know about this? Darkness Lingxiao asked. They should know, because I got this information from a disciple of the primitive demon sect. The Saint of Light said with a nod. She had once killed a saint of the primitive demon sect. From that saint, she inadvertently learned that there was the aura of light in the heavenly starry cloud sea. It was suspected to be the inheritance of the Light Emperor. As for whether that saint of the primitive demon sect had told others about this, it was hard to say. If that's the case, then we'll have to be careful. Try not to alarm the Saint King Grand Elders of the primitive demon sect. Darkness Lingxiao said slowly. However, he also understood that it would be difficult to avoid alerting the experts of the primitive demon sect. If he was trapped in the territory of the primitive demon sect, even his master, the Soul Saint King, and the sect leader of Yuluosha would not be able to save him. All right, the Saint of Light said with a nod. In the end, Darkness Lingxiao asked Yu Meng to return to the Dark Demon sect first, and the Radiant Saint also returned to the Radiant Demon sect. Both of them were saints. If they followed Darkness Lingxiao and the Radiant Saint, not only would they be exposed easily, but their cultivation would also be weaker. If they obtained the Origin Spirit Tea in the Origin Spirit realm, it would not be long before Yu Meng and the Saint of Light could break through to the Supreme Saint realm. Although Yu Meng and the Saint of Light were reluctant, they agreed in the end. Let's go! Darkness Lingxiao and the Saint of Light leaped up and tore through the void. They used the Great Shift technique and rushed toward the heavenly starry cloud sea. In a black palace in the primitive demon sect. Who killed my brother? I'll grind your bones to dust and suppress your primordial spirit in the 9 underworlds forever, never to be reincarnated. A voice that was filled with rage and killing intent rang out in the palace. It rumbled like thunder and shook the surroundings. Chapter 25:13. It was a young man in black armor who looked extraordinarily valiant. His body surged with demonic chi that seemed to come from the beginning of the world, creating all sorts of mysterious and unfathomable scenes. It was as if tens of thousands of souls were wailing and the heavens were trembling. It made him look even more terrifying. He was Hong Zhan, the first elder of law enforcement of the primitive demon sect. In the primitive demon sect, his status was only below the sect master and the great elders. He had great authority and power, possessing overwhelming fist force and strength. He was also Hong Qing's elder brother. Hong Qing's death must be related to the Radiant Demon sect and the Darkness Demon sect. I'd like to see who dares to kill my younger brother. Hong Zhan's voice was bone-chilling. He stood up with a gloomy expression. His eyes were filled with cold, killing intent. Rumble. He took a step forward and the space instantly cracked open. A spatial tunnel appeared, and he disappeared from the palace. Starry Cloud Sea. This was an extremely mysterious place. Although it was in the demon realm, it was very much like a paradise in the demon realm. It had an ethereal, otherworldly temperament. Stars floated in the sea of clouds. They were not very large, but they were as majestic as ancient divine mountains. There were living beings living on them. The clouds and the surroundings were ethereal, and mysterious sunlight shone through the clouds, enveloping the entire heavenly starry cloud sea in an incomparably resplendent light. Darkness Lingxiao and the Radiant Saintess both concealed their auras and appeared in the starry cloud sea. Legend has it that the formation of the starry cloud sea can be traced back to the beginning of the epic. Back then, the heavenly emperor shattered an area with a single punch. Countless stars fell and formed the starry cloud sea in this region. The radiant saintess slowly explained the origin of the starry cloud sea to Darkness Lingxiao. It's actually related to the heavenly emperor, shattering an area with a single punch, as expected of the invincible heavenly emperor. Darkness Lingxiao sighed softly. This sky starry cloud sea was billions of miles in circumference. Darkness Lingxiao and Radiant Saintess divine senses were unable to cover it. Moreover, they were affected by an extremely mysterious law, only able to see the scene within a radius of 10,000 miles. At the beginning of this era, the Sky Emperor caused our devil race to suffer great losses. Even the 3 great devil emperors of our devil realm have been sleeping for a long time because of him. They haven't shown their true bodies in the devil realm for countless years. The Holy Maiden of Light said slowly with a hint of yearning in her eyes. The Heavenly Emperor was definitely the most dazzling, peerless figure of this epoch. Even the Holy Maiden of Light, who was from the Devil Realm, admired the Sky Emperor. Many people in the Devil Realm regarded the Sky Emperor as their lifelong goal. I think this heavenly starry cloud sea should be even older than the Celestial Emperor. After all, the great Emperor of Light is a living fossil from before the epoch. If he hid his inheritance here, it must mean that this place is extraordinary. Dark Lingxiao looked around and said with a burning gaze. Bush. Dark Lingxiao and the Holy Maiden of Light talked as they flew forward. Both of them could sense that the heavenly starry cloud sea was not a secret realm without life. On the contrary, the life aura here was extremely strong. In the stars and clouds, there were not only powerful demonic beasts, but also human practitioners. However, the cultivation of those humans was not strong. The strongest ones were only in the saint realm. Moreover, they were like candles in the wind that could be extinguished at any time. Hey, why are there so many humans here? Dark Lingxiao's eyes flashed, revealing an incomparably puzzled and surprised expression. The stars and clouds intertwined to form this vast heavenly starry cloud sea. Dark Lingxiao sensed carefully and found that the entire heavenly starry cloud sea seemed to be shrouded in a layer of mysterious energy, which prevented the humans from leaving. They could only stay in the heavenly starry cloud sea. Both Dark Lingxiao and the Holy Maiden of Light were from the devil race, so they were not affected at all. I heard that these humans were captured by the primitive devil sect and kept here as prey for the disciples of the primitive devil sect so that they could hunt humans and improve their cultivation with the blood, flesh, and primordial spirits of humans. The Holy Maiden of Light said flatly, "Keeping humans in captivity? I can't believe the primitive devil sect would do such a despicable thing." Dark Lingxiao was instantly enraged. Although he did not show it on his face, his heart was filled with cold, killing intent. Although he was a doppelganger formed by Dark Lingxiao's origin devil bone and was essentially no different from the devil race, he had never thought of himself as a devil race. He had always had the pride of a human. Therefore, he would never show mercy to the devil race. He did not feel any guilt even when he was toying with the Holy Maiden of the devil race. He knew that his roots were in the human race. He was just a passerby in the devil realm. Therefore, when he heard the Holy Maiden of Light say that the primitive devil sect had captured many humans and kept them here, he was instantly enraged. Despicable? Although it seems cruel that the primitive devil sect is keeping humans in captivity, the devil realm and the human race are like fire and water. Why do you say that the primitive devil sect is despicable? The Holy Maiden of Light looked at Dark Lingxiao in surprise. She felt that Dark Lingxiao's reaction was a little too extreme. Nothing. I just don't like the primitive devil sect. Dark Lingxiao sneered and said arrogantly. I don't like the primitive devil sect either. The Holy Maiden of Light smiled faintly. That means we've reached an agreement. Now that we're in the starry cloud sea, you should tell me where the light scripture is, right? Dark Lingxiao asked curiously. I don't know either. I only know that the light scripture should be in the starry cloud sea. As for where it is, I don't know. The Holy Maiden of Light shook her head. You don't know? The starry cloud sea is so big. Where are we going to find it? Dark Lingxiao said with a bitter smile. Boom. Dark Lingxiao's eyes flashed. He sensed the fluctuations of an intense battle coming from an incomparably huge star in the distance. There are devil race experts slaughtering humans? They should be disciples of the primitive devil sect, right? The Holy Maiden of Light said in surprise. Let's go. I want to kill them. Darkling Xiao's eyes flashed with murderous intent. In an instant he flew toward the huge star. Although it was called a star, it was actually a small continent shrouded in clouds. Dark Ling Xiao and the Holy Maiden of Light appeared in the sky above the continent almost instantly and saw the scene below. When Dark Ling Xiao saw what was happening below, he was furious. Murderous intent rose from his body. He was enraged to the extreme. Chapter 25:14. On the Star Continent, countless people of the human clan were wearing ragged clothes. Their eyes were filled with anger. They held weapons in their hands and stared at the two young men in front of them. There were many corpses of the human clan in the surroundings. Some had their limbs cut off, some had turned into mummies, and some had their heads chopped off. It looked extremely tragic. The void was filled with a strong smell of blood. However, none of the human clan retreated. The killing intent in their eyes seemed to have materialized. The two young men were wearing Taoist robes. They seemed to have extraordinary cultivation. They were handsome, and their faces were filled with indifference and arrogance. They had both reached the peak of the half-saint realm. They were only one step away from becoming a saint. One of the young men grabbed a young girl in a white dress. Although the young girl's face was red and she was struggling with all her might, she couldn't break free from the young man's palm. Let go of Ji Linger. The leader of the group, a burly man, roared angrily. His eyes were bloodshot, filled with grief and anger. Let go of Ji Linger. Behind the burly man, all the human clan shouted angrily at the same time. Their voices shook the sky and were filled with a tragic aura. People who heard them couldn't help but tremble in their hearts. A bunch of ants like you dare to stop me? My master is the supreme elder. Do you lowly slaves want to offend your superior? Get out of my way. Otherwise, you'll end up like those people. The young man who grabbed the young girl in a white dress sneered. His eyes were filled with undisguised killing intent. The ancient sword in his hand was emitting a powerful emperor's aura. At the moment, it was dripping blood. Obviously, it was the blood of the human clan experts on the ground. You primitive devil sect have gone too far. You've extracted the blood of the human clan, enslaved the human clan, and ordered us around like livestock. Why do you want to kill the human clan? Ji Linger is the next patriarch of the Ji clan. You can't take her away. Even if we fight to the last breath, we won't give up. The burly man roared sorrowfully. His muscles were bulging. His voice had a kind of anger and sadness, which moved people who heard it. What bullshit, next patriarch? It's her blessing that I like her. If you don't get out of my way, I'll kill all of you. The young man said coldly. It was absolutely impossible for him to return Ji Linger. He never thought that he would actually meet a Xiantian body in the human clan. If he captured Ji Linger and took her Xiantian origin back, she would be able to become a saint. This was his opportunity to become a saint, and no one could stop him. Not to mention that even the strongest of these humans, the robust man, had just entered the half-saint realm. The others were only at the god rank realm. So, many humans had died at their hands just now. Tai Shan, go back quickly, don't worry about me. You have to preserve the vitality of the human race. You can't be willful. Ji Linger's eyes were filled with tears. His eyes were filled with anxiety as he spoke to the tall and sturdy man anxiously. No, Linger, we must save you this time. Even if we die, we will never be slaves again. Tai Shan roared. His blood boiled and his battle intent surged. Humans will never be slaves. Humans will never be slaves. Humans will never be slaves. Many humans roared. The battle intent around them seemed to have become one. Everyone's eyes were filled with the determination to die. They stared at the two disciples of the primitive demon sect in front of them. Although their clothes were ragged, their cultivation bases were low, and they had been oppressed, enslaved, and humiliated wantonly. At this moment, the dignity and courage that only belonged to the human race had been awakened. Even their patriarch had been captured by these damned devils. How could they endure it? Even if they were to die, they had to fight. Damn it. I think you really don't know what's good for you. From today onwards, all of you lowly humans can die. The two young men of the primitive demon sect were flustered and exasperated. They didn't know why, but when they met the eyes of these humans, they suddenly felt a little flustered. Especially when they saw the fearless look of death, it made them feel a little uneasy. However, the two of them instantly became angry out of humiliation. These damned humans, for a girl, were now teaming up to deal with two noble disciples of the primitive demon sect? This was like a servant killing his master. It was absolutely intolerable. They had to kill them all. Demonic chi rose around the two young men of the primitive demon sect. The ancient swords in their hands shone with black light. They locked onto the humans in front of them, and a monstrous killing intent exploded. I think you're the ones who don't know what's good for you. Just then, a bone-chilling voice rang out in the void. Rumble. The terrifying demonic light covered the entire sky. It was as if a huge black curtain had covered the entire sky in an instant. A black figure descended from the ninth heaven at an extremely fast speed. Who is it? The two young men of the primitive demon sect couldn't help but change their expressions. They felt an irresistible pressure. Without thinking, they raised their demonic swords and stabbed at the newcomer. Boom! It was a black fist imprint that contained unparalleled divine power that could crush everything. It swept over in a mighty manner and instantly collided with the two flawless demonic swords. The two demonic swords were directly smashed into pieces. One of the young disciples of the primitive demon sect was blasted into a bloody mist by the punch. He didn't even have time to scream before he exploded into a bloody mist. As for the other young disciple, although he was not killed on the spot, it was as if he had been struck by lightning. He coughed up blood, and his eyes were filled with incomparable terror. The black hand directly grabbed his neck and lifted him up. The black light in the sky dispersed, and a young man in a black robe appeared in front of the humans. He looked extraordinary. His body was strong and his face was cold. He had a faint smile on his face. It was Darkness Ling Xiao. Most of the humans thought that they were going to die, but they didn't expect Ling Xiao to appear out of nowhere. The two ferocious disciples of the primitive demon sect were like little chicks. One was killed and the other was injured. However, when they sensed the demonic aura on Ling Xiao's body, their expressions became extremely uneasy. The newcomer was also a demonic cultivator. Cough, cough, cough. Who are you? This is the forbidden area of the primitive demon sect. How dare you kill my disciples? You're dead. Chapter 25:15. Trash, how dare you threaten me when you're about to die? So what if you're from the primitive devil sect? It's not like I haven't killed anyone before. Don't worry, I won't let you die so easily. Dark Ling Xiao sneered. His smile was so cold that it sent chills down one's spine. Boom! He exerted force in his hand, and the young disciple exploded into a blood mist. A black primordial spirit struggled to escape, but a black flame suddenly rose from the palm of dark soaring clouds, and instantly engulfed the primordial spirit and began to roast it. Miserable cries were heard, making people's hair stand on end. Their eyes were filled with terror. Roasting the primordial spirit with true fire was excruciating. In the end, not only would there be endless pain, but there would also be no reincarnation. Many humans couldn't help but feel a chill run down their spines. They were all trying to guess who this demon race expert was. Why did he have such a deep grudge against the primitive devil sect's disciple? At this moment, the Holy Maiden of Light also floated down and landed beside Dark Ling Xiao. The Holy Maiden of Light didn't seem to have any devil chi. She was wearing a holy long dress. Her white clothes fluttered in the wind. She was tall and slender. Her skin was as white as jade, crystal clear. Her face was flawless. Her entire body was glowing, emitting a bright and beautiful aura. Many human tribe experts were stunned when they saw the Saintess of Light. "Thank you for saving my life, Senior. Aren't you from the primitive devil sect? Senior, you should leave quickly. Otherwise, it won't be good if the supreme elder of the primitive devil sect finds out." Ji Linger gracefully bowed towards Darkness Ling Xiao and said with a sincere expression. She looked like she was only 13 or 14 years old. Her skin was as white as snow, and her smile was sweet. She had a quiet and gentle temperament. Naturally, she represented the human race. Many human experts didn't feel anything wrong. People from the primitive devil sect? I'm still waiting for them to come. I'll kill them one by one. These bastards deserve to die. Dark Ling Xiao sneered. Senior, you are powerful, but the primitive devil sect is one of the 3 most powerful holy lands in the devil realm, and the primitive devil monarch is a supreme monarch. Senior saved me, and the entire human race is extremely grateful. However, this heavenly starry cloud sea is a mess. Senior shouldn't have come here. Ji Linger said seriously. Although she didn't know why Ling Xiao would save them, and whether it was in terms of appearance or aura, Ling Xiao looked like a demon clan ranker. Dark Ling Xiao gave Ji Linger a very intimate feeling. It was an aura that originated from the depths of her bloodline, causing her to unconsciously become closer to Dark Ling Xiao. I naturally have my reasons for coming here. Are you willing to be enslaved by the primitive devil sect? Don't they know how to resist? I heard that the humans of the divine realm started the human era because of the heavenly emperor. I didn't expect them to be a bunch of cowards. Dark Ling Xiao sneered. Many humans were instantly infuriated by Dark Ling Xiao's words, and their eyes were filled with anger. Tai Shan stared at Dark Ling Xiao and said, "What do you know? This is the heavenly starry cloud sea, and the primitive devil sect has set up a powerful restriction. It is impossible for us to leave this place, and we can only become the primitive devil sect's food. For countless years, I don't know how many ancestors of the human race have died in the hands of those devil bastards. However, we can't just die like this. We have to endure the humiliation and accumulate our strength. One day, we will definitely defeat the primitive devil sect." Tai Shan's words seemed to be the voice of many human experts, and everyone shouted together. Endure the humiliation, or are you cowardly? The reason why I saved you is that I want you to do me a favor. If you can help me find a place in the heavenly starry cloud sea, I will consider saving all of the human race. This is a deal. Are you interested? Dark Ling Xiao sneered and didn't argue with them on this issue. But Ji Linger's eyes lit up. Although she couldn't see through Dark Ling Xiao's cultivation, he was at least in the saint realm, since he could easily kill 2 experts at the peak of the half-saint realm. If such an expert was willing to help them, they might really be able to escape from the sea of suffering and leave the heavenly starry cloud sea. It is the place of inheritance of a powerful expert, who cultivates the great path of light, so the place of inheritance should be nurturing infinite light, and it should be in the heavenly starry cloud sea. However, I don't know where it is. Since you are all humans who have lived here for a long time, you should know, right? Dark Ling Xiao said lightly. He didn't immediately save the human race, not only because he wanted to test them, but also because his current identity was too special. He couldn't reveal it, so he could only put on a cold and ruthless look. The place of inheritance of an expert? The great path of light? Senior, are you looking for the place of inheritance of the great emperor of light? Ji Linger's eyes lit up as she looked at Dark Ling Xiao and asked, "How do you know the place of inheritance of the great emperor of light?" Dark Ling Xiao was slightly stunned. Even the Saintess of Light had a look of disbelief in her eyes. It wasn't easy for her to find the place of inheritance of the great emperor of light, which she thought would take a long time to find in the heavenly starry cloud sea. Was it so easy to find it? I happen to know that place. Some people in the human race also know about it. If you really want to find the place of inheritance of the great emperor of light, then I am the right person. Ji Linger said with a smile. Good. Then take me to the place of inheritance of the great emperor of light. As long as I find that place, I will save you and leave here. Dark Ling Xiao nodded and said, Senior, can you please help my people? I can take you to the place of inheritance of the great Emperor of Light, but if we leave, once the people of the primitive demon sect come, they will have no chance of survival. Ji Ling said with a pleading look. Even she didn't know why she could say that after seeing Dark Ling Xiao. After all, Dark Ling Xiao was also a demon. Why would she put her hope in the hands of a demon saint? Ji Ling didn't understand, but she knew that this was the only hope for her people. She also believed in the familiar feeling in her heart. So troublesome. I will take them all into my small world. If those demon bastards of the primitive demon sect dare to come here, I will kill them all. Don't resist, I will take you all into my small world. Dark Ling Xiao frowned and said impatiently. Boom. As soon as he finished speaking, he waved his sleeve. Vast dark origin energy surged and the ancient dark world appeared. It directly emitted a vast devouring power and took the tens of thousands of human experts into the ancient dark world. Thank you, Senior. Ji Ling suddenly smiled. Her smile was like the spring breeze in March, making the whole world light up. Chapter 25:16. Origin Spirit Realm. Hong Zhan came from beyond the sky, like a giant that could hold up heaven and earth. His entire body exuded a vast and unparalleled aura. His gaze was cold, containing a killing intent that seemed to have materialized, causing the void of the origin spirit realm to tremble violently. Hong Qing died here. There's an aura of light and darkness here. Hong Qing came here with the holy son of the light demon sect, so the person who attacked him must be from the dark demon sect. Hong Zhan muttered to himself, his voice filled with killing intent. Buzz. There was a blazing divine light rising in his eyes. There seemed to be an incomparably obscure dark aura appearing in the void, and he instantly caught it in his palm. No matter who you are, you dare to kill my brother Hong Zhan, you have to die. In Hong Zhan's palm, the dark aura was about to disappear into the void. Hong Zhan also took a step forward and directly entered the void, disappearing without a trace. Heavenly Starry Cloud Sea. Ji Ling brought Ling Xiao and the Holy Maiden to the depths of the Sea of Clouds, wanting to bring them to find the inheritance of the Light Emperor. Ling Xiao and the Holy Maiden were very puzzled. After all, Ji Ling only seemed to be in the Divine King realm, and her strength was not considered strong. How did she find the inheritance of the Light Emperor? However, this puzzle was solved very quickly. At the very center of the heavenly starry cloud sea, an endless sea of clouds rose. Ji Linger brought Ling Xiao and the Holy Maiden of Light as they walked through the sea of clouds with a very strange pace, as if the sea of clouds around them had become somewhat different. When the sun rose, the bright sunlight dyed the clouds into a pure gold color. The clouds around them shook violently, and an extremely strange scene appeared in front of Ling Xiao and the Holy Maiden. Light Emperor Treasury. 4 ancient and mysterious characters appeared in the sea of clouds. In an instant, they emitted a bright light, containing a vast and mysterious aura. Come with me. Ji Linger's eyes lit up, and she immediately turned into a ray of light, flying directly towards the 4 big words, Brightness Emperor's Treasury. A powerful fluctuation came from the void, and her entire person disappeared in an instant. Light Emperor Treasury? Is it really the land of inheritance of the great Emperor of Light? Darkness Ling Xiao and the Holy Maiden of Light looked at each other, and their eyes lit up as well. They instantly followed Ji Linger and entered an unfamiliar space. Rumble. What appeared in front of Ji Linger, Darkness Ling Xiao, and the Holy Maiden of Light was an incomparably majestic divine mountain. It looked as if it was 1,000,000 meters tall, towering between heaven and earth, emitting a vast and eternal aura. The divine mountain radiated a vast and blazing light, turning the entire space into eternal light. Darkness Ling Xiao and the Saintess of the Light were astonished by this sight. Senior, when I was young, I accidentally discovered this secret in the Sea of Clouds. Whenever the sun is high in the sky, As long as you use the Radiance Movement technique to enter the Sea of Clouds, you will be able to see the words Radiance Emperor's Repository. Once you enter the Radiance Emperor's Repository, you will arrive here. Ji Linger explained. However, we humans are unable to set foot on this Radiance Mountain. Those light stone steps contain an incomparably terrifying pressure. If we force our way up, we will definitely be suppressed by the light and our souls will be completely destroyed. Ji Linger pointed at the stone steps leading to the top of the mountain and said with some lingering fear. Radiance Emperor's Repository, one could tell that this was the land of inheritance of the great Emperor of Light. However, even though Ji Linger had discovered this place, she had no way of ascending the Radiance Mountain. She could guess that only the Demon Clan or the people of the Radiance Demon Sect could obtain the inheritance of the great Emperor of Light. Not only did Ji Linger know about the Radiance Emperor's Repository, he also told some of the higher-ups of the Human Clan. Many experts of the Human Clan had sent people here to find an opportunity to obtain the inheritance of the great Emperor of Light, but without exception, they all failed in the end. If it wasn't for Darkness Lingxiao saving Ji Linger and her clansmen this time, as well as the incomparably familiar feeling from Darkness Lingxiao, she wouldn't have told this secret to Darkness Lingxiao. This must be the land of inheritance of the great Emperor of Light. I can feel that there is a strange power calling out to me from the top of the Radiance Mountain. That is definitely the complete Radiance scripture. The Holy Maiden of Light couldn't remain calm at this moment. Her eyes were filled with incomparable excitement. She cultivated the Radiant Scripture. Even though it wasn't the complete Radiant Scripture, she cultivated the purest Radiance origin energy. She could sense that there was a complete Radiant Scripture at the top of the Radiance Mountain. Then let's climb the mountain. I really want to see what kind of inheritance the great Emperor of Light left behind in the Radiance Emperor's Repository. A hint of eagerness appeared in Dark Soaring Firmament's eyes. Radiance Emperor's Repository? I didn't expect that the legendary land of inheritance of the great Emperor of Light would be here. At this moment, a voice filled with ecstasy rang out in the void. Buzz. The void trembled slightly, and a powerful aura descended in this space. Darkness Lingxiao and the Holy Maiden of Light couldn't help but have their eyes flash. They saw a handsome young man in black armor appear. His entire body exuded an incomparably terrifying aura. Vast Saint's aura spread out, containing a monstrous baleful aura, causing Ji Linger's body to tremble in an instant. Her face became incomparably pale. It's actually a great saint? Darkness Lingxiao's eyes flashed. He was planning to climb the Radiance Mountain to see if he could obtain the inheritance of the great Emperor of Light. He didn't expect an uninvited guest to appear. Moreover, the cultivation of this young man in black armor had already reached the late stage of the Great Saint realm. His cultivation was even higher than Darkness Lingxiao and the Holy Maiden of Light. Who are you? Darkness Lingxiao's saint's aura spread out, blocking the terrifying pressure for Ji Linger. Only then did Ji Linger's pale face become slightly better. Holy Maiden of Light? You're the one who killed my brother. The young man in black armor was, of course, Hong Zhan. When Darkness Lingxiao and the other two discovered him, Hong Zhan also saw the Holy Maiden of Light in Darkness Lingxiao. He couldn't help but tremble, and his eyes revealed an incomparably cold killing intent. He followed the dark aura and unintentionally entered the Radiance Emperor's Repository. He didn't expect to meet the Holy Maiden of Light and Darkness Lingxiao. Chapter 25:17. Hong Zhan. The Holy Maiden could not help but frown when she saw Hong Zhan. She knew that Hong Qing's brother, Hong Zhan, was the supreme elder of the primitive demon sect. She also knew that Hong Zhan would not let go of Hong Qing's death. However, she did not expect him to come so quickly. It seemed that Hong Zhan must have some secret method to locate Hong Qing's murderer. Lingxiao, he's Hong Zhan, the supreme elder of the primitive demon sect and Hong Qing's brother. I'm afraid he's here to seek revenge. The Holy Maiden of Light transmitted her voice to Lingxiao and told him about Hong Zhan's identity. You're Hong Qing's brother? Hong Qing is not strong enough, But he dared to be arrogant in front of me. He's just courting death. Your cultivation is not bad. So you're here to seek revenge? Darkness Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. His eyes were full of disdain. So you're the one who killed my brother. You must be Ling Xiao from the Dark Demon sect, right? I didn't expect you to have broken through to the Great Saint Realm. However, no matter what, you'll be buried with my brother today. Hong Zhan's eyes were full of undisguised killing intent. Rumble. Black demonic light surged around him, causing the surrounding space to tremble violently in an instant. An ancient, primitive, and mysterious wave of energy erupted. It was as if countless ancient gods and demons were fighting behind him, causing his aura to become even more terrifying. Hong Zhan's heart was also extremely shocked. He didn't expect Dark Ling Xiao's cultivation to improve so quickly. Not only did he become a sage in just 100 years, but he also broke through to the Great Sage Realm in one go. This kind of cultivation speed was simply unprecedented. The more it was like this, the stronger his killing intent was. He could not let such a person live. Ling Xiao, this is the territory of the primitive demon sect. You'd better kill him in one blow. Otherwise, if he sends back news, we'll be in big trouble. The Holy Maiden of Light transmitted her voice to Ling Xiao. She looked at Hong Zhan and said, Elder Hong Zhan, if you let Ling Xiao go, we'll give you the inheritance of the Great Light Emperor. What do you think? Bitch. I didn't expect you, the Holy Maiden of the Light Demon sect, to degrade yourself and mix with the Dark Demon sect. Of course, I want the Great Light Emperor's legacy, but all of you have to die. Hong Zhan's eyes revealed a trace of sharp killing intent as he rebuked angrily. Rumble. Hong Zhan struck out with his palm towards Darkness Ling Xiao and the Holy Maiden of Light. His palm contained a blazing demonic light, as if it was going to break apart the world. It came crashing down with a mighty force. He could see that Darkness Ling Xiao and Light Saintess had just broken through to the Great Sage Realm. On the other hand, he was already at the Great Sage Late Realm. It should not be a problem to deal with the two of them. If he could kill these two people, he would be able to monopolize the Great Light Emperor's inheritance. When he thought of the legendary light scripture, Hong Zhan's heart burned with passion. Hong Zhan, there's a path to heaven, but you refuse to take it. There's no door to hell, but you barge in. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. His dark and piercing eyes revealed a trace of cold killing intent. Endless darkness rose around him, and a vast origin energy erupted. In an instant, the dark heavenly wheel spun and expanded in the void. It contained a power that could devour everything, and it came crashing down on Hong Zhan. The mighty emperor's aura erupted, causing the surrounding sky to shake violently as if it would break apart at any time. The chaotic mist rose and swept across the surroundings like a storm, erupting into an incomparably terrifying scene. What? How could you have an emperor's weapon? Hong Zhan's face changed instantly. His eyes revealed a look of disbelief, and he could not help but roar. Rumble. The blood in his body seemed to be burning. The dark heavenly will had caused him an unimaginable threat, making him feel the crisis of death. Immediately, he burned the blood essence in his body without hesitation. Terrifying Saint's aura erupted from his body, and he wanted to break out of the dark heavenly wheel's range and escape. He knew that if he did not escape now, he would not have a chance at all. Even though he was at the Great Sage Late Realm, he did not have any confidence in the face of a flawless emperor's weapon. You want to leave? You'd better stay. Dark Ling Xiao sneered. The dark heavenly wheel was vast and mighty like an ancient and mysterious divine mountain, sealing off all the escape routes of Hong Zhan. The terrifying devouring power attacked Hong Zhan, leaving him with no power to resist. He was swallowed into the dark heavenly wheel in an instant. Swoosh, swoosh. Darkness Ling Xiao and Light Saintess took Ji Ling, and entered the dark heavenly wheel in a flash. Rumble. What dark soaring clouds didn't notice was that when he entered the dark heavenly wheel, the Radiance Mountain instantly shone brightly. It erupted with an incomparably blazing aura. There seemed to be some kind of mysterious power that resonated with the dark heavenly wheel. The dark heavenly wheel spun and emitted a dark mist that spread around the Radiance Mountain. The collision of darkness and light did not erupt as expected. Instead, it seemed to merge together, forming an incomparably wonderful state. At this moment, Darkness Ling Xiao did not know that the appearance of the dark heavenly wheel had brought changes to Light Mountain. He and Light Saintess appeared in the inner world of the dark heavenly wheel, in the ancient darkness world. Hongzhan, didn't you want to kill me? Come, I'll let you die knowing. Darkness Ling Xiao said coldly, exuding an incomparably powerful fighting spirit. He and Light Saintess heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Hongzhan was arrogant and confident, thinking that he could deal with Darkness Ling Xiao and Light Saintess. Moreover, he was greedy and wanted to take the inheritance of the great Emperor of Light for himself. Therefore, he did not summon the experts of the primitive demon sect immediately, giving Darkness Ling Xiao an opportunity. The dark heavenly wheel contained the dark domain, and within it was a space of its own. Now that Hongzhan had been swallowed into the ancient darkness world, it could be said that he was like a turtle in a jar. It was impossible for him to send out any information. Damn it. Could this be the legendary dark heavenly wheel? Didn't the dark demon sect lose this supreme emperor weapon long ago? How did it end up in your hands? Hongzhan's face was incomparably ugly as he stared at Darkness Ling Xiao. Of course it's because my luck is boundless. Hongzhan, I didn't expect you to be as arrogant and ignorant as your brother. I really don't know how you cultivated to the great saint realm. Darkness Ling Xiao sneered coldly. Ling Xiao, you're despicable and shameless. If you have the ability, then fight with me. What kind of ability is it to borrow the power of the Supreme Emperor weapon? I'm not convinced. Chapter 25:18. The dark heavenly wheel formed the ancient darkness world. Hongzhan was imprisoned in the dark heavenly wheel. Even though he had the cultivation of a great saint, he could not escape from it. Hongzhan was filled with grief and indignation. He originally planned to kill Darkness Ling Xiao and Saint Lady of Light and take the inheritance of the great Emperor of Light for himself. However, he did not expect Darkness Ling Xiao to have the dark heavenly wheel, an extreme Dao Emperor weapon. This time, extreme joy turned to sorrow. Hongzhan, why don't we make a bet? Darkness Ling Xiao said faintly. What bet? Hongzhan said coldly. I won't use the power of the extreme Dao Emperor weapon. Let's fight. If you can defeat me, I'll let you go. If you lose, leave your life behind. What do you think? Darkness Ling Xiao smiled faintly as a strong fighting spirit surged in his eyes. He could feel that Hongzhan's strength was very strong. Hongzhan's cultivation of Great Sage Realm Late was considered a rare opponent for Dark Soaring Sky. He could use this battle to test his own combat power. Are you serious? Hongzhan's eyes lit up. If Darkness Ling Xiao used the Dark Heavenly Wheel, Hongzhan would definitely not be his opponent. However, if it was a fair fight, Hongzhan did not take Darkness Ling Xiao seriously. Darkness Ling Xiao's words gave him a glimmer of hope. That's right. If you want to live, you'll have to find a way to defeat me. Hongzhan, let me see how powerful the Supreme Elder of the primitive demon sect is. Darkness Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His eyes instantly became sharp and his body exuded a strong fighting spirit. Rumble! His fist blasted out toward Hongzhan. His fist was ferocious and domineering. Blazing divine light gushed out, and endless power of the origin of darkness permeated the air. This fist seemed to have broken through the vast sky, descending with a rumble. Darkness Ling Xiao exuded a monstrous aura like an invincible demon emperor. His fist momentum was unparalleled, causing Hongzhan's face to change. Hongzhan finally understood why Darkness Ling Xiao dared to fight with him until Darkness Ling Xiao attacked. Kill! Killing intent surged in Hongzhan's eyes. He raised his hands and blazing divine light gushed out. It turned into an ancient divine grindstone between his palms as if it was grinding away at all the living beings in the world. Hongzhan was fighting for his life, which was why he used the supreme saint technique of the primordial devil sect, the primordial godly grindstone. He wanted to obliterate everything. Boom! The void rumbled violently. After dark soaring firmament and Hong Zhan collided, both of them trembled and retreated at the same time. Ha! Again. The battle intent in darkness. Ling Zhao's eyes soared as he once again charged towards Hong Zhan. His entire being seemed to have turned into countless black afterimages in the void as he charged towards Hong Zhan. Streaks of fist prints swept out in all directions, extremely ferocious and overbearing. As for Hong Zhan, he used the primordial divine grindstone to deal with it. At the same time, he used his fingers as a sword, causing sword chi to rise around him. Streams of sword light were extremely sharp, as if they had come from the void. It was impossible to defend against them, and they charged toward darkness Ling Xiao from all directions. The battle between the two instantly became incomparably intense. Is this a battle between great sages? It's too terrifying. Ji Ling's entire body trembled. Her face was slightly pale, and her eyes were filled with incomparable shock and yearning. Although she was protected by the Holy Maiden of Light and was not affected by the terrifying Saint Aura, she could still feel the danger and terror of the battle between darkness Ling Xiao and Hong Zhan. There was a trace of yearning in Ji Ling's eyes. If she could have the cultivation of a great sage, perhaps the situation of the human race would not be so miserable. The human race in the heavenly starry cloud sea was the slaves and food of the primordial devil sect. They were wantonly humiliated and killed by them. The most important thing was that they were too weak. The devil realm was even more cruel than the divine realm. It was a world that paid more attention to the strong. Ji Ling knew the importance of having great power and cultivation. If I take this senior as my master, I wonder if he will accept me. A thought suddenly appeared in Ji Ling's mind. At the same time, she felt a little nervous. After all, she was a human race, and this senior was a genius of the devil race. Would he take the risk of offending the primordial devil sect to take her as his disciple? Darkness Ling Xiao's strength is really strong. The Holy Maiden of Light was also watching the battle in front of her. Her eyes were filled with divine light. She could feel the domineering and invincible aura of darkness Ling Xiao. It was as if an ancient celestial emperor had descended. It could sweep across the heavens and shock the myriad of worlds. Just the aura alone could make up for the lack of cultivation. Not to mention, darkness Ling Xiao's combat power was superb. He had cultivated the scripture of darkness and the supreme emperor technique in it. Every attack contained the power to destroy the heavens and earth. Although Hong Zhan had the cultivation of the late great sage realm, he was suppressed by darkness Ling Xiao. He was at a disadvantage and faintly showed signs of being defeated. Primordial true devil, invincible world suppressing. Hong Zhan roared. The monstrous blood chi in his body seemed to be burning. Rumble. Black divine light rose around his body. There were crimson flames spreading. His aura began to skyrocket. In the endless crimson light, an incomparably ancient figure emerged. It seemed to have come from the chaos. Its face was extremely blurry. It charged towards darkness Ling Xiao in the air. It's the emperor technique of the primordial devil sect, the primordial true magic art. The Holy Maiden of Light exclaimed. She did not expect Hong Zhan to have cultivated this supreme emperor technique. Moreover, it seemed that his attainment was not low. The primordial true demon that he had condensed was showing signs of solidification. The primordial true demon was one of the ancestors worshipped by the primordial devil sect. Legend had it that it was one of the oldest living beings in the ancient times. It was even older than the primordial devil emperor. The primordial true magic art was to summon the true body of the primordial true demon. It could kill everything and decompose everything into the most primitive state. It was extremely terrifying. Hong Zhan was forced to the extreme by darkness Ling Xiao. He had no choice but to unleash the primordial true magic art. Come on! A light flashed in darkness Ling Xiao's eyes. In an instant, the demonic light rose around his body. Countless fist prints in the surrounding void merged together at this moment, turning into an incomparably ancient fist print. It contained the aura of the darkness origin. It charged towards the primordial true demon in a mighty manner. Kacha! The void shook violently, as if the world was about to shatter. A blazing bolt of lightning shot out and engulfed the void in all directions, causing the Holy Maiden of Light and Ji Linger's expressions to change as they quickly retreated. Chapter 25:19. The two Supreme Emperor techniques collided, and the terrifying momentum was enough to destroy the world. Hong Zhan's primordial true demon and Darkness Lingxiao's Darkness Emperor fist collided and shattered in the void at the same time. The surrounding sky trembled violently. Hong Zhan could not withstand the terrifying power and suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. His aura instantly became dispirited and weak. Hong Zhan, is this all you've got? You've really disappointed me. Darkness Lingxiao's indifferent voice was heard, causing Hong Zhan's expression to change abruptly. His eyes were filled with incomparable horror. He saw Darkness Lingxiao strolling out from the endless divine light storm. His figure was handsome, his face was handsome, and his eyes were dazzling. He looked like he had an invincible aura flowing around him. He took a blow from the primordial true demon and seemed to be unaffected. His aura became even stronger. How can you be so strong? Hong Zhan's eyes were filled with disbelief. He was 2 small realms higher than Darkness Lingxiao and had been in the Great Saint Realm for many years. He had a solid foundation and cultivated several powerful saint techniques and emperor techniques, but in the end he was still no match for Darkness Lingxiao. Hong Zhan simply could not accept this sense of defeat. Hong Zhan, you couldn't seize the opportunity and you're too weak. So, you'd better go accompany your brother. Darkness Lingxiao said indifferently and then pointed a finger at Hong Zhan's glabella. The finger radiance was like a dazzling light beam that contained a sharpness that could penetrate everything. Hong Zhan's hair stood on end and he could not help but roar, "No!" Rumble. His eyes were filled with unwillingness. He did not want to die here. He was the supreme elder of the primordial demon sect with the cultivation of the late Great Saint Realm. He even had hopes of becoming a saint ruler grand ancestor of the primordial demon sect in the future. How could he be willing to die in the hands of Darkness Lingxiao? He burst out with all the supreme saint origin power in his body, wanting to block Darkness Lingxiao's killing blow. Futile resistance. Darkness Lingxiao sneered. His finger was incomparably sharp. It was the supreme emperor technique of the Scripture of Darkness. It destroyed everything in an instant and pointed directly at Hong Zhan's glabella. Bloody light filled the air as the finger pierced through Hong Zhan's forehead, causing Hong Zhan's roar to come to an abrupt end. Rumble. Endless dark light rose around Dark Lingxiao. He radiated with a power that could devour everything. He grabbed Hong Zhan and began to devour the vast saintly way origin power within Hong Zhan. Dark Soaring Cloud's sky-devouring secret skill had also been cultivated to perfection, forming the sky-devouring sacred domain. It could devour everything in the world. The origin of the saintly way in Hong Zhan's body had become the best nourishment for Dark Soaring Cloud, allowing his cultivation to soar. Very soon, Hong Zhan's Saint Dao origin was completely devoured by the dark firmament. Hong Zhan died with his eyes wide open and was filled with a monstrous murderous aura. However, the dark firmament shook and immediately turned him into ashes, completely annihilated. After devouring Hong Zhan's Saint Path origin, it also allowed Darkness Lingxiao to stabilize his Great Sage Realm, and his cultivation began to climb toward the intermediate Great Sage Realm. Senior, you're too powerful. Ji Linger's eyes were filled with admiration. She had not expected the ferocious Hong Zhan to die in the hands of Dark Soaring Cloud. Dark Soaring Cloud had completed the magnificent feat of killing a great sage. Lingxiao, let's get out of here quickly. Hong Zhan is the supreme elder of the primitive demon sect. Now that he is dead, the primitive demon sect will not let this go. The Holy Maiden of Light's eyes were filled with worry. She knew very well what the death of a great sage meant. It meant that the primitive demon sect would definitely unleash endless fury, and they would definitely find the real culprit. It would not be difficult for the primitive demon sect to find out the identity of Dark Soaring Cloud and the Holy Maiden of Light. Dark soaring cloud wanted to say something, but his eyes suddenly flashed. He immediately left the ancient darkness world with the holy maiden of light. Rumble. Above the Radiance Mountain, a dazzling light rose. The dark wheel and the Radiance Mountain seemed to have formed a mysterious connection. Darkness and light intertwined, containing a strange fluctuation. After dark soaring cloud and the holy maiden of light left the ancient darkness world, they immediately appeared at the top of the Radiance Mountain. The Radiance Mountain originally contained boundless threats, but for some reason, they had all disappeared. Dark soaring cloud and the holy maiden of light also appeared at the top of the Radiance Mountain. It was as if the test that they had imagined had disappeared. At the top of the Radiance Mountain, there was a figure emitting boundless light. The figure sat cross-legged on the Radiance Mountain, exuding vast great Tao law. This is the great Emperor of Light's branded doppelganger? The holy maiden of light trembled, and her eyes were filled with disbelief. The great Emperor of Light's shadow doppelganger? Dark Ling Zhao's eyes also revealed a trace of light. He saw that there seemed to be mysterious runes within the body of the resplendent figure. They intertwined with each other, as if they were an incomparably mysterious scripture. Could that be the radiant scripture? Dark soaring cloud's heart skipped a beat, and his breathing quickened. The light of chaos, the beginning of infinity, the origin of all things, the return of all living beings. Obtain infinite light, cleanse the darkness, purify the world. The holy maiden of light sat cross-legged in front of the figure, and softly recited the scripture. Her divine voice was clear and melodious, but there was an incomparably strange rhythm that filled the air. Buzz. At this moment, the branded doppelganger of the great Emperor of Light began to emit a dazzling light, causing the surrounding void to tremble slightly. Lines of dazzling runes rose from its body, flowing in the void and intertwining with each other, beginning to form an ancient and mysterious scripture. It was as if the great Tao divine voice was trembling violently. The scripture was dazzling, as if it contained the source of light. It was so dazzling that people could not open their eyes. Dark soaring cloud and the holy maiden of light both trembled. They were almost instantly sure that this scripture was the radiant scripture. At this moment, the dark heavenly wheel also flowed with mysterious Tao rhymes, and the dark scripture within it also turned into a scripture that floated in the void. Rumble. The dark scripture exuded a dark aura, and the radiant scripture exuded a dazzling light. There seemed to be an incomparably mysterious force between the two, causing them to rapidly approach each other, and then collide with a loud bang. Chapter 25:20. The light scripture and the darkness scripture collided, but there was no violent eruption or explosion as expected. Instead, it was as natural as water and milk. The power of light and darkness were originally incomparably pure origin power, but at this moment, the fusion of the two actually became somewhat different. The fusion of light and darkness turned into wisps of chaotic qi, which contained exuberant vitality, and began to form an incomparably mysterious world. It was a world of light because there was a sun that illuminated all things. It was also a world of darkness because darkness would eventually descend, and light would eventually fade away. The intertwining of light and darkness was like the creation of heaven and earth. It began to spread in all directions, shrouding the entire Radiance Mountain. It swallowed this space, enveloped the surrounding sea of clouds, and shrouded the stars and continents. At this moment, Darkness Lingxiao and the Light Saintess did not seem to notice the changes in their surroundings. Their entire being was attracted by the two mysterious scriptures in front of them, and they fell into a state of thoughtless enlightenment. Although light and darkness were two extremes of power, they were never singular and independent. Just like the relationship between yin and yang, all living things carried yin and embraced yang. Rushing qi was harmony. Light and darkness were also the complete laws of the great Tao that formed this world. Why does the branded doppelganger of the Light Emperor look so similar to the Dark Emperor? Moreover, the fluctuations of the primordial spirit are exactly the same. Could it be that the Light Emperor and the Dark Emperor are the same person? Darkness Ling Xiao trembled all over, and his eyes revealed a look of disbelief and horror. He had obtained the complete inheritance of the Dark Emperor. Not only did he have part of the Dark Emperor's primordial spirit memory, but he also had the supreme mystery of the Darkness Scripture. At this moment, Darkness Ling Xiao discovered that the branded doppelganger of the Light Emperor and the Dark Emperor were so similar. This discovery made him tremble all over, as if he had discovered some incredible secret. If the Light Emperor and the Dark Emperor were the same person, then the Light Demon Sect and the Dark Demon Sect were originally of the same origin. However, why did the two sects not remember anything about the two emperors, and even lost their inheritance? Who was the mastermind behind all this? Darkling Xiao's mind spun. He could vaguely sense that there was an invisible hand behind all of this, directing everything. If he had not obtained the legacy of the Dark Emperor and seen the imprinted clone of the Light Emperor with his own eyes, he would not have believed that the Dark Emperor and the Light Emperor were the same person. Dark soaring clouds exuded a rich source of darkness energy. He started to operate the secret art of light and darkness. Immediately, a sky full of light surged into his body like starlight. The two powers of light and darkness began to fuse together in Dark Soaring Cloud's body, forming a mysterious energy that emitted chaotic colors. Darkness Ling Xiao and the Saintess clothes had completely vanished at some point. The two of them hugged each other as they sat in the air. Boundless darkness and boundless light intertwined with each other, forming something similar to a Taiji diagram. What the two of them did not know was that the ancient world was rapidly expanding into the surroundings. The two of them had become the center of the world, erupting with terrifying energy pulses. Rumble. When the world was opened, that was the power of light and darkness. In the end, it enveloped the entire heavenly starry cloud sea. The source of darkness and the source of light intertwined, and an incomparably terrifying aura fluctuation erupted in the demon world. What kind of power is that? In the demon world, some almighty figures were awakened by the terrifying aura from the heavenly starry cloud sea. Such powerful source energy. Could it be that someone is confirming their Tao as an imperial emperor? It shouldn't be. This aura seems to be the birth of some heavenly emperor's treasure. No matter what, let's go take a look. This might be our opportunity. Countless experts in the demon world were startled. Everyone was shocked. They all moved, tore through the void, and headed toward the heavenly starry cloud sea. The first to arrive were naturally the experts from the primitive demon sect. The heavenly starry cloud sea was in the territory of the primitive demon sect. Such a terrifying fluctuation that even swallowed the entire heavenly starry cloud sea instantly attracted the attention of the higher-ups of the primitive demon sect. Investigate. Find out what's going on. The primitive demon sect's Saint Ruler Great Ancestor exuded a monstrous aura. 4 or 5 Saint Ruler Great Ancestors were awakened from their seclusion. Their eyes were filled with shock. That kind of power even made their hearts tremble. It vaguely seemed to have surpassed the limits of the Saint Way. Could it be the power of the Supreme God Realm? Thinking of this, even the Saint Ruler Great Ancestors could not continue their seclusion. Their powerful divine consciousness intertwined. In the end, they decided to send a Saint Ruler Great Ancestor to the heavenly starry cloud sea to investigate. However, to the disappointment of many experts in the demon world, the heavenly starry cloud sea was enveloped by the light and darkness origin energy. Powerful emperors might intertwined, forming an extremely terrifying territory. Even saint rulers could not force their way in. There was even a supreme saint who did not believe it and wanted to force his way in. However, he was killed by the light and darkness origin energy in the end. Not even his corpse was left behind. Wait, this kind of power should completely subside soon. Such dense light and darkness origin energy and extreme emperor's might. Perhaps an extreme emperor's weapon and supreme emperor's scripture have appeared. Many experts' eyes were filled with excitement and anticipation. They all stopped outside the heavenly starry cloud sea, waiting for the violent light and darkness origin energy to subside. Is this the demon world? What a dense origin energy! Light shone brightly in the void. An ancient door descended on the peak of a mountain. Ling Xiao and Long Outyin stepped out and appeared in this world. Long Outyin looked at the world in front of him, and his eyes were filled with curiosity. This was an ancient and vast world. The mountains in the distance were tens of thousands of feet tall, hundreds of thousands of feet tall, and even tens of thousands of feet tall. They were like divine swords that pierced the sky. Towering ancient trees stood in the forest. The trunks of the trees were extremely thick, and they contained an incomparably majestic aura of life. There were strange flowers and herbs everywhere in the mountains. There were rugged rocks and many demonic beasts that were hibernating in the mountains. They emitted strong and weak auras. This was an extremely wild world. It revealed a rough, wild, and ancient aura. This was the demon world. The demon world is the same as the demon world and the divine world. They are all great worlds that have given birth to many supreme emperors. Naturally, it contains an extremely dense origin energy. Your cultivation has reached the great divine king realm. If you break through to the sage-to-be realm here, you will be able to leave a mark of the demon world. From then on, no one will suspect that you are from another world. Chapter 25-21. He had stimulated the ancestral dragon bloodline in Long Outyen's body in the heavenly prison court and used the various divine beast inner elixirs and great path precepts to help Long Outyen improve his cultivation, allowing him to break through to the complete divine king realm in a very short time. If Ling Xiao did not want Long Outyen to undergo the tribulation in the monster realm, Long Outyen would have broken through to the sage-to-be realm long ago. Alright, then I will undergo the tribulation here. When I break through to the sage-to-be realm, we will go to the dragon clan and snatch the dragon god position. Long Outyen chuckled. His eyes were filled with eagerness to give it a try. This was a desolate mountain range, where no one was around. The demonic beasts in the mountain range were not very strong. In Ling Xiao's perception, the strongest demonic beasts were only a few sage-to-be demonic beasts. This place was suitable for Long Outyen to undergo the tribulation. Boom! Long Outyen sat cross-legged on the mountain peak. He completely unleashed his cultivation and a powerful aura burst out. Golden chi and blood rose around him, even giving off 9 colors. It made him look extremely majestic and mysterious. Breaking through from the divine king realm to the sage-to-be realm was a breakthrough from the divine path to the divine path. It was not only a feeling of the heavenly path, but also a transformation of one's life. The moment Long Outyen released his cultivation, there was a muffled thunder in the sky, followed by rolling dark clouds. Blazing lightning rose and intertwined, containing endless destructive power. Flames of nothingness rose up from Long Outyen's body. They began to burn his body, making him weaker and weaker. A strange aura of tribulation radiated from his body. It was mysterious and unfathomable. He has triggered the heavenly wrath? As expected of the ancestral dragon bloodline, even the sage-to-be tribulation can trigger the heavenly wrath. Ling Xiao sighed softly. When others underwent the sage-to-be tribulation, it was mostly the tribulation in their body. Those who could trigger the heavenly wrath were all peerless geniuses. Long Outyen had a strong foundation, and the ancestral dragon bloodline gave him supreme luck. There was no bottleneck in his cultivation, and his cultivation improved by leaps and bounds. So, Long Outyen's nirvana? The tribulation was naturally extremely terrifying as well. The flames of nothingness and endless tribulation chi that rose from his body began to erode his body and consume his life essence. They wanted to kill him completely. Was this the nirvana that one had to go through in order to reach perfection of the divine way and transform towards the divine way? Nirvana? Rebirth was the process of returning from death to life. It could only be done by oneself, and no one else could help. Roar! A dragon's roar erupted from Long Outyen's mouth, causing the surrounding space to tremble violently. Endless bolts of lightning descended from the sky like dancing lightning snakes. It was extremely chaotic as they struck his body, causing his flesh to split open. The extreme pain caused Long Outyin to reveal a trace of pain in his eyes. However, he soon became even crazier and more arrogant. His body emitted a monstrous battle intent. Ling Xiao could feel that Long Outyin's breathing was getting weaker and weaker. Amidst the tribulation, Long Outyin seemed to have fallen into the state of returning to ruins. He was shrouded in endless tribulation chi, and the destructive power of the thunderbolts rained down from the sky. Long Outyin was in incomparable pain. Long Outyin remained in this state for 3 days and 3 nights. In the end, Long Outyin seemed to have completely turned into ashes. However, Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with divine light. He could feel that a vigorous vitality was awakening in Long Outyin's body. An ancient dragon's roar resounded through the sky. In an instant, Long Outyin's body emitted dazzling rays of light. His breathing became vast and terrifying. He revealed his original form, which was a divine dragon that was tens of thousands of feet long. His entire body was dazzling with golden light, as though he was cast in gold. His body was surrounded by 9-colored divine light, which made him look majestic and mysterious. He exuded a vast dragon's power, causing all the demonic beasts within a 10,000-mile radius to tremble. They could only kneel on the ground as though they had met an emperor of the demonic beasts. They did not have any thoughts of resistance. Long Outyin had broken through. He had gone through nirvana? Nirvana, he was now a first transformation half-saint. Ha! What a fortune! I did not expect to meet a divine dragon with such a powerful bloodline in this barren land. If I can devour your bloodline, I will definitely become a saint. At this moment, a voice filled with greed was heard. Black rays of light bloomed in the void and turned into a large black net, which enveloped Long Outyin. A young man in a black robe, who looked shifty and ugly, stared at Long Outyin with a burning gaze. He looked greedy, but his eyes were filled with greed. His cultivation was also at the peak of the 9th Revolution half-saint realm. Finally, you can't hold back anymore? Ling Xiao said calmly. He did not seem surprised at all. With a flick of his finger, a ray of light shot out. It was like a sharp sword radiance, which cut the large black net in half. He had already noticed the presence of the young man in the black robe. In fact, when Long Outyin started to go through the nirvana tribulation, the young man in the black robe had been hiding at the side, waiting for Long Outyin to succeed before attacking. Ling Xiao had concealed his cultivation, so his aura was very ordinary. Therefore, the young man in the black robe did not take him seriously. The young man in the black robe was a 9th transformation half-saint. In his opinion, it was a piece of cake for him to deal with a first transformation half-saint from the dragon tribe. Bastard! Or you! How dare you sneak an attack on me? Long Outyin was furious. He was still immersed in the joy of breaking through. He did not expect someone to sneak an attack on him. Moreover, the young man in the black robe said that he wanted to devour his bloodline. This bastard deserved to die. Who are you? The young man in the black robe's face changed as he stared at Ling Xiao. His large black net was a top-notch half-saint treasure. He had refined it for a long time. He thought that he could capture Long Outyin, but he did not expect Ling Xiao to destroy it so easily. He had a bad feeling in his heart. This seemingly ordinary young man was not as ordinary as he had imagined. A flood dragon with the bloodline of a divine dragon? His bloodline is very heterogeneous. It is rare for him to be able to cultivate to such a level. However, do you really think that a pure-blood dragon dares to come here alone to go through the nirvana tribulation? Ling Xiao stood in the air, his white robe fluttering. He looked at the young man in the black robe with interest. There was a strange black and white light flashing in his eyes. It was as if he could see through everything about the young man in the black robe. The young man in the black robe felt very uncomfortable. Chapter 25-22. Who are you? My father is the Black Dragon Sage of the Black Dragon Mountain. I advise you not to make a mistake and obediently hand over this pure-blood dragon. Otherwise, don't even think about leaving this place. The black-robed young man gloomily stared at Ling Xiao. The Black Dragon Sage of the Black Dragon Mountain? I've never heard of him. Come here. I have a few things to ask you. If your answers satisfy me, I'll spare your life. Ling Xiao said indifferently. He didn't take the black-robed young man's words to heart. Ling Xiao waved his hand at the black-robed young man. The young man suddenly felt his body tighten as if an invisible force had imprisoned him. His entire body involuntarily flew towards Ling Xiao. You're a sage. Let me go, or my father won't let you go. The black-robed young man's eyes revealed a trace of panic. However, he still spoke in a threatening manner. He originally thought that Ling Xiao's cultivation was similar to his. However, he now knew that he was gravely mistaken. Ling Xiao could easily imprison him. Only a true sage could possess such supreme power. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Just say what I asked you to say. Such a heterogeneous bloodline is a disgrace to the Dragon clan. Long Aotion slapped the black-robed young man's head. The black-robed young man was dizzy. His eyes suddenly revealed a trace of ominous light. A mere First Revolution half-saint dared to treat him like this. If he hadn't been imprisoned by Ling Xiao, he would have killed this pure-blood dragon. Where is this place? Where is the ancestral land of the Dragon clan? How far is it from here? Ling Xiao asked indifferently. The black-robed young man originally wanted to say a few more words. However, when he met Ling Xiao's deep eyes, he immediately swallowed his words. He could only answer honestly. This is the wilderness of the Southern Fire region. The land within a radius of 1,000,000 miles is uninhabited. It's occupied by several sages. Each of them has their own rule. As for the ancestral land of the Dragon clan, I don't know. I only know that the Dragon clan is in the Eastern Wood region. It's hundreds of millions of miles away from here. Even a sage would need a long time to reach the Eastern Wood region. With the black-robed young man's answer, Ling Xiao could be considered to have a general understanding of the demon world. The demon realm was mainly divided into 5 major regions: the Eastern Wood region, the Western Metal region, the Southern Fire region, the Northern Water region, and the Central Earth region. The 5 regions were extremely vast. In fact, they were not smaller than the other Great Thousand Worlds. With a radius of hundreds of millions of miles, they nurtured countless demonic beasts and races. The 5 great domains were divided according to the 5 most powerful races of the ancient demon race. The Dragon race, the Phoenix race, the White Tiger race, the Black Tortoise race, and the Qilin race. These 5 races shook the demon world in ancient times. No other demon race could compare to them. They were even called the 5 great sacred races. Although the 5 sacred clans were no longer as glorious as they were in the past, and the demon realm had become even more chaotic with the emergence of countless powerful forces and races, the division of the 5 domains still continued. The Southern Fire region had been the territory of the Phoenix clan since ancient times, but now the Phoenix clan only occupied a very small area, guarding their ancestral land and living in seclusion. The black-robed young man's name was He Feng, and he was the son of the Black Dragon Saint. Usually, he only moved about in the wildlands and rarely left this place. He did not answer many of Ling Xiao's questions in detail, which made Ling Xiao and Long Outyin very dissatisfied. Cousin, this guy is not only trash but also ignorant. He doesn't know anything. I think it's better to kill him. There's no use in keeping him alive. Let's go to the Eastern Wood region and ask around. We'll definitely be able to find the whereabouts of the dragon race's ancestral land. Long Outyin glared at He Feng and said with a trace of ferocity in his eyes. He Feng was shocked and quickly said to Ling Xiao, "Senior, I've never left the wildlands. Naturally, I don't know many of your questions. But Senior, my father, the Black Dragon Saint, migrated from the Eastern Wood region and has some relations with the ancient dragon race. He definitely knows about your questions." He Feng said quickly with a pleading look in his eyes. He did not want Ling Xiao to kill him in a fit of anger. By then, even if the Black Dragon Saint could avenge him, it would be too late. The Black Dragon Saint? But take me to your father. Ling Xiao said faintly. I hope your father knows what's good for him. Otherwise, both of your lives will be over. Long Outyin looked at He Feng mockingly. How could he not know what He Feng was thinking? He was still pinning his hopes on the Black Dragon Saint, hoping that the Black Dragon Saint could save him. However, Long Outyin, who knew Ling Zhao's strength, was not worried at all. Even a supreme sage would have to kneel if he wanted to fight with Ling Xiao, let alone a mere saint. Bush. Ling Xiao and Long Outyin took He Feng into the sky and turned into 3 divine rainbows, heading towards the Black Dragon Mountain. The Black Dragon Mountain was 100,000 feet tall, towering above the clouds. Its aura was majestic and vigorous. There was a black dragon pool in the mountain. This was the cultivation place of the Black Dragon Saint. It was also one of the few forbidden areas in the wildlands. No demon race dared to intrude into the Black Dragon Mountain. Ling Xiao and Long Outyin brought He Feng to the sky above the Black Dragon Mountain. Ling Xiao could feel an extremely powerful aura in the Black Dragon Mountain. It had reached the Saint Realm and had part of the Divine Dragon's bloodline in its body. That must be the Black Dragon Saint. Which fellow Taoist has come to my Black Dragon Mountain? I wonder if my son has offended you? At this moment, a deep voice sounded. A black light rose from the Black Dragon Mountain. A middle-aged man in a black robe appeared in front of Ling Xiao and the other 2. He looked very burly and majestic. His body was full of saint aura, and his blood qi was strong. His entire body exuded a domineering and wild aura. He looked at Ling Xiao and asked. There was a trace of uncertainty in his eyes. Father, save me. When He Feng saw this middle-aged man, his eyes immediately revealed a look of incomparable surprise. He quickly shouted out loud. This middle-aged man in a black robe was naturally the Black Dragon Saint in the Black Wind Gap. Are you going to attack me? Ling Xiao looked at the Black Dragon Saint indifferently. His eyes were calm and deep. Who are you? If my son has offended you, I apologize to you here. Please don't lower yourself to his level. The anger in the Black Dragon Saint's eyes disappeared. He smiled slightly and cupped his hands at Ling Xiao. Although he looked calm on the surface, there was a storm in his heart. He realized that he could not see the cultivation of this young man in front of him. However, he directly told him that this young man's cultivation was not below his. He felt that this young man was extremely dangerous. Chapter 25-23. Yes, he offended me. But if you can answer a few of my questions, I'll spare him. Ling Xiao said faintly. Then, he released He Feng as if he was not worried that the Black Dragon Sage would attack him. My friend, please. I'll tell you everything I know. The Black Dragon Sage was relieved when he saw Ling Xiao release He Feng. He smiled at Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao and Long Outyin arrived at the peak of the Black Dragon Mountain. There was a huge palace called the Black Dragon Palace. It was the cultivation place of the Black Dragon Sage. The Black Dragon Sage led Ling Xiao and Long Outyin into the Black Dragon Palace. Then, he took out a pot of spring water and a few tea leaves. He put them into white jade teacups and made tea for Ling Xiao and Long Outyin. My friend, this is the innate spiritual root heavenly snow tea. It can stabilize the Taoist heart and strengthen the primordial spirit. It's a treasure that I obtained with great difficulty. Please have a taste. The Black Dragon Sage smiled. Is it the heavenly snow tea? Long Outyin picked up the teacup and took a sip out of curiosity. Immediately, he felt a warm current flow into his limbs and bones. It turned into a clear stream of energy that flowed into his sea of consciousness. He felt like he could sense the flow of time at that moment. His soul became clear and shone with a faint light. Good tea. After a while, Long Outyin opened his eyes. There was a hint of surprise in his eyes. This cup of tea had stabilized his cultivation as a first revolution half-saint and strengthened his primordial spirit by 30%. It was indeed the innate spiritual root. Ling Xiao didn't hesitate either. He picked it up and drank it in one gulp. Then he nodded and said, Not bad. This Tianshan Snow Spirit tea was indeed good, but it was of no use to Ling Xiao. He was already a great sage. The Tianshan snow spirit tea could only make him feel the fragrance in his mouth, but it had little effect on him. My friend, you flatter me. The black dragon sage's eyes flashed. The heavenly snow tea was extremely precious. Even if a sage drank it for the first time, he would be affected by the clear qi in it. He would be absent-minded for a moment, and his primordial spirit would be purified and strengthened. However, he did not expect Ling Xiao to be unaffected after drinking a cup of heavenly snow tea. Could it be that this young man had drunk the heavenly snow tea before? Or could it be that his cultivation was far beyond his own? The black dragon saint became even more fearful. There's no more tea. Now, fellow Taoist black dragon, please answer a few questions for me. Ling Xiao said with a smile. Please ask, fellow Taoist. The black dragon saint nodded with a smile. Fellow Taoist black dragon, do you know where the ancestral land of the dragon clan is? Truth be told, this cousin of mine is a pure-blooded dragon, and I want to bring him back to the dragon race to acknowledge his ancestors. Ling Xiao said slowly. The ancestral land of the dragon clan is located in the eastern wood region. However, the dragon clan is currently in decline and is ranked at the bottom of the 5 sacred clans, so they're in a semi-secluded state. Speaking of which, I'm not afraid that you'll laugh at me. I was once a member of the dragon clan, but for some reason, I left the eastern wood region and came to this desolate land. The black dragon saint smiled bitterly. Fellow Taoist, are you from the dragon clan? What a coincidence! I can see that your cultivation base is extraordinary, and the bloodline in your body should be the bloodline of a 3-clawed divine dragon. Why did you leave the dragon clan? Ling Xiao asked curiously. Not only is the dragon clan declining now, but they're also divided into several factions. The internal friction is very serious. The current Dragon King is a kind and benevolent elder. Although his cultivation is extraordinary, he can't control those arrogant and unruly people. I had to leave the human race because I offended a big shot in the Dragon Clan. In the Dragon Clan, bloodline is supreme. I only have the bloodline of a 3-clawed divine dragon, which is very mediocre in the Dragon Clan. It can even be said that my bloodline is low. Fellow Taoist, your cousin's bloodline is rich. This is at least the bloodline of a 7-clawed divine dragon. Even in the Dragon Clan, he can be regarded as a genius. Once he enters the Dragon Clan, he will definitely be vigorously cultivated by the Dragon Clan. The Black Dragon Saint explained with a wry smile. His eyes fell on Long Outyin with a hint of envy and amazement. The Dragon Clan was lustful, so the Dragon Clan left many bloodlines in the entire demon realm. For example, the Flood Dragons and Horned Dragons all had the bloodline of the Dragon Clan, so the Black Dragon Saint did not doubt Long Outyin's identity. However, people like Long Outyin who had the bloodline of a 7-clawed divine dragon and above were rare. It was very difficult to meet. Long Outyin did not reveal his ancestral dragon bloodline, so the Black Dragon Saint could not tell that Long Outyin had the bloodline of the ancestral dragon. He could only vaguely sense that Long Outyin had the bloodline of a 7-clawed divine dragon. Not to mention the Black Wind Gang coveting Long Outyin's bloodline. If it wasn't for Ling Xiao, the Black Dragon Saint would have attacked Long Outyin the moment he saw him and devoured his bloodline. Before the Dragon Clan had enough strength, it was impossible for the Dragon Clan to let such a powerful bloodline go. Otherwise, they would easily become the prey of other demon clans. The battles and killings in the demon realm were even more tragic than in the divine realm. I heard that those in the Dragon Clan who have the bloodline of the ancestral dragon have the chance to compete for the throne of the Dragon King. Now that the Dragon King is the Dragon King, there shouldn't be anyone else in the Dragon Clan who has the bloodline of the ancestral dragon, right? Ling Xiao asked calmly. Of course. The bloodline of the ancestral dragon is also known as the 9-clawed ancestral dragon bloodline. It is the emperor of the Dragon Clan and is qualified to be the Dragon King of the Dragon Clan. However, there are too few people who have the bloodline of the ancestral dragon. In the entire Dragon Clan, there are only a handful of people who have the bloodline of the ancestral dragon. The current Dragon King naturally has the bloodline of the ancestral dragon. However, as far as I know, other than the current Dragon King, there are at least 3 other people in the Dragon Clan who have the bloodline of the ancestral dragon. Moreover, the Dragon King has been on the throne for 1,000,000 years. It is said that his cultivation has reached the peak of the Saint King realm. Soon, he will go into seclusion to break through to the Supreme God realm. The Dragon Clan should be choosing a new Dragon King. If there are no accidents, the new Dragon King should be one of the 3 people who have the bloodline of the ancestral dragon. The Black Dragon Saint said slowly. There are at least 3 people who have the bloodline of the ancestral dragon? Ling Xiao glanced at Long Outyin. Those people were probably Long Outyen's competitors. Moreover, their cultivation and strength were definitely stronger than Long Outyin. It seems that returning to the Dragon Clan this time should be more difficult than Ling Xiao imagined. Ling Xiao asked the Black Dragon Saint some more questions. The Black Dragon Saint did not hide anything. He told Ling Xiao everything he knew about the monster realm, some secrets of the Dragon Clan, and all the rumors he heard. This allowed Ling Xiao to have an intuitive understanding of the monster realm and the Dragon Clan. In that case, I will take my leave. Thank you for answering my questions. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and got up to bow to the Black Dragon Saint. The Black Dragon Saint's attitude was not bad. He did not shout to kill Ling Xiao as soon as he came up. Ling Xiao naturally would not do anything to him. After getting the answer he wanted, Ling Xiao decided to leave. Wait a moment. The Black Dragon Saint hesitated for a moment and said to Ling Xiao. Chapter 25-24. Is there anything else, Black Dragon? Ling Xiao looked at the Black Dragon Sage curiously. Fellow Taoist, I have a presumptuous request. If you agree, I am willing to accompany you to the ancestral land of the Dragon Clan. The Black Dragon Sage gritted his teeth and said, Let's hear it. Ling Xiao said noncommittally. Fellow Taoist, there is something you don't know. The reason why I am willing to stay in this savage land is that there is a cave mansion of a Dragon Clan senior here. I would like to invite you to go to that cave mansion with me. I only want the dragon pearl of that Dragon Clan senior. The other treasures can be given to you. The Black Dragon Sage said very sincerely. The cave mansion of a Dragon Clan senior? Why don't you go there yourself? Ling Xiao asked curiously. Outside the cave mansion of that Dragon Clan senior, there is a powerful array formation protecting it. I can't break it with my own strength. And it's not just me. There are 3 monster saints in this savage land who know the location of that cave mansion. I am not their opponent alone. The Black Dragon Sage said very frankly and introduced the situation of the cave mansion. It turned out that a few months ago, there was a strange phenomenon in the center of the savage land. The Black Dragon Sage and the other 3 monster saints went to investigate and found that there was an ancient cave mansion exuding an incomparably powerful dragon aura. It was the cave mansion of a Dragon Clan senior. According to the Black Dragon Sage's speculation, that Dragon Clan senior had at least reached the Saint King realm. However, the Black Dragon Sage and the 3 monster saints had their own ulterior motives. They could not open the array formation outside the cave mansion, so they had to disperse in the end. However, the 4 of them left their divine sense outside the cave mansion, paying attention to every movement in this cave mansion at all times. A Saint King Realm Dragon Clan senior? You want to get the Dragon Pearl. You should want to refine the Dragon Clan bloodline in it, right? But why are you looking for me? Ling Xiao asked curiously. He was also a little interested in the cave mansion mentioned by the Black Dragon Sage. The Dragon Pearl of that Dragon Clan senior shouldn't be of much use to you. But the treasures in that Dragon Clan senior's cave mansion will definitely satisfy you. I see that you are a straightforward person, so I invited you rashly. The Black Dragon Saint said with a smile. His idea was actually very simple. Long Outyin already had at least the bloodline of the 7-clawed divine dragon. The dragon balls in the cave were of no use to Long Outyin and Ling Xiao, but they were very useful to the Black Dragon Saint. In the Dragon Clan, the bloodline was respected. The Black Dragon Saint's cultivation had been stuck in the Sage realm for many years. It was because his bloodline was too heterogeneous that he could not break through. If he could refine the dragon pearl of that dragon clan senior, he would definitely be able to increase the power of his bloodline. At that time, he would be able to break through to the next realm. Moreover, Ling Zhao's strength seemed unfathomable, giving the Black Dragon Saint a very dangerous feeling. At the very least, Ling Zhao was a saint, not weaker than the Black Dragon Saint. There was no conflict of interest, and they were powerful. They were exactly the kind of allies that the Black Dragon Saint needed. Very good. Fellow Taoist Black Dragon, you're very frank. Since that's the case, I'll go with you. Ling Zhao glanced at the Black Dragon Sage and smiled faintly. Now that Ling Zhao had cultivated the 12 Sky Skills secret skill, his understanding of the secret skill of fate and the secret skill of karma was getting deeper and deeper. He could already see the possibilities of the future and judge whether it was a disaster or a blessing. He did not feel any malice from the Black Dragon Saint. Moreover, he felt that this so-called Dragon Clan cave was very important to him. Ling Zhao immediately decided to go to the Dragon Clan cave to take a look. Thank you, fellow Taoist. Don't worry, fellow Taoist. Whether or not there are any gains in that cave, I'll accompany you to the Dragon Clan's ancestral land. The Black Dragon Saint was overjoyed and hurriedly said to Ling Zhao. Bush. Ling Zhao, Long Outyen, and the Black Dragon Saint soared into the sky together and headed towards the center of the wildlands. In the center of the wildlands, there was a huge dormant mountain range. It looked like a huge dragon that was tens of thousands of miles long. The dragon chi filled the air, and the clouds were ethereal. It exuded a desolate and ancient aura. Fellow Taoist Ling Zhao, the Dragon Clan Senior's cave is in this mountain. The Black Dragon Saint stood in the void and pointed at the winding mountain range below with great anticipation. This mountain range is not simple. A gleam of light flashed through Ling Zhao's eyes. He had actually discovered that this mountain range contained an extremely complete dragon vein. Not only did it affect the barren land within 1,000,000 kilometers, but it also affected the vast region around it. It was a paradise that no one had discovered before. Ling Zhao could feel that this mountain range was enough to be used as the mountain gate of an immortal sacred land or to support a huge race. It contained supreme luck. Of course, although the Black Dragon Saint's cultivation was powerful, he could not see how terrifying the dragon vein here was. Of course it's not simple. The fact that the Dragon Clan's Saint King chose this place as his cave abode shows that it must be a blessed land. The cave abode is there, but it's covered by a supreme killing formation. There's also a faint remnant Emperor's aura. It's extremely terrifying. Fellow Taoist Ling Zhao, be careful. Don't go near it. The Black Dragon Saint said slowly and finally pointed at the location of the dragon's head in the mountain range. It was a valley surrounded by clouds and mist. There was a strange light flickering, and a very dangerous aura was vaguely emitted from it. This is an incomplete Emperor's array? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he muttered to himself in surprise. He and the Black Dragon Saint both stopped near the valley. The sea of clouds in front of them looked very majestic, but Ling Zhao could feel that there was an incomparably terrifying killing formation hidden under the sea of clouds. It interweaved with monstrous killing intent, forming a huge trap, waiting for the arrival of its prey. The sea of clouds looked calm, but there were turbulent undercurrents, containing incomparably terrifying killing intent. That's right. This is an incomplete Emperor's array. Although it seems to have gone through countless years and its power has weakened a lot, it's still not something that we can break. However, in the past few months, I found the location of the array core. If we can destroy it in one go, we can break in. The Black Dragon Saint said with a burning gaze. Finally, his finger pointed at a small mountain in the sea of clouds. The small mountain looked very abrupt, but it seemed to be very harmonious, balancing the power of heaven and earth in front of them. Let me see, Ling Zhao said slowly. Buzz. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.